WTF Nation Radio.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you ever have one of those moments where you think, how the hell did I get here? Jeez, what happened to me? I was ruling the galaxy, had a cherry new battle station. I mean, this place had an omelet bar, a straight-up omelet bar. And now look, my former interns tossing me down a bottomless freaking pit. You know, come to think of it, my whole life has been a series of what the moments. That was my out.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I looked my woman in the eye sockets. I told her straight out. I just said it, man. I said it. I said, bitch, I'm the man of the house.
You said bitch, though. You called your wife a bitch.
Yeah.
This is a public service announcement from C.T. Fletcher. I will not contribute to the pussification of a nation. Get your punk ass out there and work for it, motherfucker.
Let's roll.
Lord, what is going on, WTF Nation Radio? Holy crap, what a freaking Monday! Damn, am I blowing you guys' ears out? I don't care. Holy shit. It's been a Monday, man. You guys don't know what's going on in the world. Oh, man. Real sad news, man, for you old-timers. For those of you that grew up during the time of Beverly Hills 90210. Luke Perry died. Fucking Luke Perry died. Holy shit. Did you ever watch Beverly Hills 90210 Radar? Did you ever see that show?
I did.
You did?
I watched that. Yeah, I'm of that age. I told my kids that he died today, and they know him from some other show, the new Archie show or something.
Yeah, it's like the Riverdale or something like that they call it.
Yeah, exactly.
Guy was like 52 years old. Had a couple kids. Had ex-girlfriend and all this other stuff. God, man. A stroke. He died of a stroke. That right there is probably one of those things where you kind of go, damn. At any time, you should just check into, just be happy about life. You're not gonna know what is gonna come of your life at the drop of the hat. It like literally, guy was. Damn, I'm just shocked. It's shocking. Shocking. Yeah, I watched it when I was a kid. Well, not really. It was like in my it was in like high school years and stuff like that. That's how old that show is. I'll admit it. Yeah, that was like the Game of Thrones of the time. You know what I mean?
I will say it was when I was literally a kid. I think I was 7th or 8th grade, so I consider that still a kid.
Oh, okay, so you're trying to make me feel old. Is that what you're saying, Radar?
Yeah, maybe a couple of years.
Just by a couple of years. Dude, it was kind of like, it happened real fast. He was rushed to the hospital, said he had a stroke, and then that was it. He was rushed to the I can't remember what it was. He was rushed to the hospital for no reason. Not for no reason, but he was just called, an ambulance was called to the house, and then he was seen at, he was taken to the hospital, and then there's no word. There's like nothing. Nothing came out of what was happening, and they freaking announced today that he died of a stroke. You just kind of think about that stuff, and you're like, damn, dude, this is like at any time, that shit could happen to you. That I don't even know where to begin. It's like you got little ones. That would be the time to hug them. You know, hang out and be with your little ones, because that is that's just, dude. That's just freaking. That is just I just can't.
Well, and he's not one of those actors that had a very public drug addiction that I recall anyway. So it's kind of weird to see somebody who's relatively healthy anyway go through something like stroke at that age.
Right. I mean, 52 is 52. I mean, I don't know. I don't care what anybody says about that age, but God, what someone's saying that we got something going on with our stuff. Are we good? Are we looking? Are we 5x5? I don't want to sit there and say that our stuff's messed up again. A lot of times Facebook likes to just like drop shit on us like this. But anyways, yeah. So it was pretty fucking crazy. He was called to the hospital. Family members amongst them were I guess were there when he passed. And that right there, you just kind of go, God, that just sucks. That is just. I couldn't even. That's like a snap of the fingers, dude.
Yeah, because he's just gone out of nowhere. I don't know. That's weird. That's really weird, and it's sad because I don't know about you, but I'm getting close to that age, so I'm getting kind of worried.
Well, I'm not trying to say that I'm. Yeah, you're just thinking. Yeah, you deal with. Okay, when you're around. How about that? How about you say when you're around that age? How about that? When you're around that age, you kind of deal with your mortality that way. You're just kind of like, did that really just freaking? Is that really happening? Is that really one of those things to where, oh, God? You just,
well, I've surpassed the age where, you know, when first Facebook first came out and my friends from high school were passing away, they were drunk and they were in an accident or they did something dumb. Now it's like, oh, so-and-so's got cancer and so-and-so's, you know, having a heart attack. And you're like, oh, maybe I need to lay off the Diet Mountain Dew and the cigarettes for a bit.
Right. And I'm just saying, you just immediately you start placing everything that's inside, everything that you, I mean, God, all the stuff that you had in your life that you discussed, man. You just, like you said, man, just within a drop of a hat, you just don't even realize that it's happening like that. Of course, like you said, there's been no known addictions, no known nothing. They seem he was relatively in good health, and he just suddenly just happened. It's like, fuck, dude. You again, I'm shocked at the fact that it's a close age stuff. You know what I mean? Just like you kind of looked at that 50-ish, and you're just like, man, I swear I'm not going to do this. I swear I'm not going to. You start checking yourself on your health, like you said about the smokes and about the, you know, am I going to continue with drinking the Rippets or all that? There's so many factors involved that can cause a stroke. I mean, we have medical professionals in the chats as always that like to go in there and provide their input, which is good. It's awesome. I'm pretty sure you guys can go ahead and drop comments in there about issues of strokes and all that, and I'm just like, God, dude, I couldn't even. It's like something you're watching, and all of a sudden, bam, it happens.
Well, and my daughters watched that Riverdale show, and he looked awful spry on there. He sure didn't look like, you know, some of these actors that are getting up there are looking like they're ready to kick the bucket, and he looked really, really well.
Yeah. You know, it's a you know, a guy's like, oh, okay, yeah, he's that. Yeah, well, you know, it's kind of one of those generational things. It's like it's like you kind of want to, you know, it brings up awareness to certain shit, and then yeah. So my apologies, guys. Forgot to throw some love out in the chats. What's going on, Road Tech? What's going on, Skittles? What's going on? Oh, we got what hype out? Oh, okay, now hosting you guys in the Mixer chat. What's up, Stefan? What's up, everybody? What is up, Zero Car? Hanging out with us in the Mixer chat, and of course the WTF Nation radio chat. We always have the loyalists there as well. What's going on, Holly? What's up, Spanky? What's up, Truth Army Recruiting? What's up, Ross? What's up? What's up? What's going on, guys? What's up, Bailey? What's up, Ari? What's up, Dave? What's up, William? Man, what is going on, guys? God, everyone's like just clamoring in the chats right now. What's going on? What's up, Joe Thompson? What's up? Dustin and Mary Moore, huh? That's one. What's up, Alan? What's going on? Damn. Yeah, so what's going on? The regulars. Byron, what's up? The regulars are regulars. David, what's up? What's Ross at? Where's my narcissistic friends at? Yes, it is Monday, so what is going on? Oh, man. But, gosh, it's just one of those things. So, and it also, it comes in threes, right? You guys didn't hear something else that happened, too, today? What was the other freaking notable death that we had today? I'm not trying to make everybody all fucking butthurt, but sorry, it's just one of those things that you just freaking got to talk about. It's got to be an issue of who's the other person that died? The lead singer of the Prodigy.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, you guys like who's Prodigy? Prodigy back in the day released this song called let me see, I'm probably gonna get busted by Facebook. So Keith Flint, lead singer of the Prodigy, dies at the age of 49. God, you want to talk about that close age there, Radar? You were talking about.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is a lot closer to me.
I'm about to say. Oh man, suicide. Killed himself. There we go. So yeah, that's the news that's happening today. we gotta Spanky, go ahead and secure some bubble wrap, and so go find Betty White. We gotta go find Betty White. Make sure she's good to go.
Betty White's under control.
Okay, Roger that. Okay, so we got Betty White.
She's immortal.
She's immortal, exactly. So yeah. So, but anyways, anywho, oh, you guys are in Iraq, man. Congrats. Rocked it in Iraq. There you go. I walked that too far, yes, tata. Twisted for you, tata. So anyways, that's the news. So Luke Perry, age 52, and then Keith Flint, lead singer of, or frontman of The Prodigy, Twisted for you, tata, dies at the age of 49 in apparent suicide. So anyways, that is what is happening. Today we have a good guest. We're going to have Sergeant, God, he was a Sergeant First Class when I remember him doing this stuff. The artist and the graphic novel artiste and creator of Private Murphy's Law. Oh my God, I can't wait. He's coming on here. He's coming on. If you guys don't know that, you don't know the comics of Private Murphy's Law. Oh my God, this is one of those legendary guests that we have. Obviously spans the reality of old Private Murphy, going through his trials and tribulations of the U.S. Army, going from being a private dealing with drill sergeants to going to jump school and being in the 82nd, and then going to being stationed in the 25th ID, and then moving on to other assignments. And so if you've kind of looked at the Private Murphy comics, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. It's a great comic to look at. It kind of reminisces and stuff like that. But he's also doing another one called Charlie Mike Comics, and he's gonna come on and talk about that and all that. And just like I said, me and Spanky remember this stuff. I think that's why Spanky volunteered to do front desk tonight, to kind of shoot the shit about that and to kind of just like.
I remember it from when I was a private.
Right,
that was
right.
I was Private fucking Murphy for a while.
Right, exactly.
If things could go wrong, they went fucking wrong.
Exactly. That was like straight up Private Murphy. Straight up.
Now, you guys do got me by a couple years because I don't think I remember those.
You don't?
Private Murphy.
You don't remember?
I've seen them, but I don't remember them like coming out like every week or every month.
Yeah.
The only comics I remember were the PMCS books that came out with the quote unquote comics in them, where the Humvees would roll over or whatever if you didn't grease the ball joints or all that stuff. Maybe that's a mechanic thing. I don't know.
Oh, I remember those too, but yeah, these wasn't.
You're talking about you're talking about the PS magazines and preventive maintenance stuff, and how they used to draw Sergeant Half-Mast, Master Sergeant Half-Mast, and then the two chicks that were PLL clerks, and then that one guy with the big afro. Yeah, that's what I remember. I mean, that's what they look. You're talking about the PM magazines on how to do a PMCS And all the like vehicles had like character faces on there. Make sure you check your loops. You know, it was like all fucking good fuck out. Yeah. No, Private Murphy, dude. That's an iconic cartoon. That's one of those things that you just kind of like, yeah. That you cannot. It's as cultured in the Army as the main page. You know what? If the main page was a comic, it would have been Private Murphy. When you think about it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like the modern day, you know. And I don't want to like steal his thunder, so I'm gonna shut up. Like he's gonna tell us all about Charlie Mike comics.
Maybe you should get him to do an illustrated comic for the main page.
No, I mean the main page, as far as the that's what I'm saying. If the main page was around back in the day, it would have been Private Murphy's comics. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I'm not drawing a comparison. Are you kidding? All that would be what would be the main page comics? I wonder what would we be drawing out on the main page? Because there's some big news that came out today on the main page, and we're going to talk about that on Sergeant's Time. Yeah, we're supposed to be talking about news and opinion, shit like that. But I can tell you what, right now, what's happening appears there's been some changes of the ACFT that we're going to talk about, and yeah, we're going to talk about it on Sergeant's Time. That's going to be fun. And when that happens, then it's going to be lots of questions. There have been people that have been jumping up and down and freaking out and asking, oh, what's going on with this? Or what happened with the ACFT? Don't worry if you've been paying attention to U.S. Army WTF Moments and checked out the post that is currently pinned to the top of the main page. You'll see. You will see. And you will see the post on top of the main page. But anyways, also there's been, holy crap, I guess over the weekend, there were some tornadoes that hit Alabama and Georgia. It's like, I don't know, 23 dead and, like several dozen missing. And that's in Alabama. And then the one in Georgia, I think there was there's some individuals that were injured as well. It's like a real quick flash tornado that came by. But yeah, PMPS, yeah, those magazines, yep. But yeah, it's freaking that's crazy. So anywho, so how was your weekend there, Radar?
Well, it wasn't as exciting as tornadoes, but it was cold up here. Really cold, like -30s cold. So it's been stay inside and nurse the man flu kind of cold.
Yeah, you got the man flu, dude. What's up with that? I mean, you right? Or
Well, I've got those pesky kids that decide they need to lick everything at school, apparently, then come home and cough it all over the entire house. So we've been fighting it nonstop for almost 2 weeks now between all the kids and Mama and me, and it's been very interesting. And like you said, when it's 30 degrees below zero out, you can't just like, oh, let's go outside and play and let the house air out. So I don't know. I'm just going around with Lysol wipes and bleach in a bottle and just spraying everything as I'm going around the house to try to curtail this epidemic we have.
Yeah, that's one thing that makes me mad about some of the kids, that their parents insist on taking them to school even though they're sick. They insist on doing that. Like, I totally get there's some people that look, if you're sick, and your kids are sick, don't. There's some people that actually believe in letting their kids go to school sick to get other kids to school sick, so that way it builds up an immunity or some whatever crap like that. You know what I mean? No, because then that comes back to me. I'm old. So if you get sick, you take your kid to school and he's sick or she's sick, then then keep him home. So was there like a delay where you're at for your kids to go to school?
There was a cold weather delay this morning. It was like, I think the wind chills were like 44 below this morning. So they took 2 hours late, but yeah, they don't have to cancel school, and we get a crap ton of snow. I think we've got like 140 inches so far this winter, and they still will not cancel it. We've only had like 2 cancellations. So, but they let the kids out early and they make them go in late, and they do all that, but they don't actually let them have a day off. So we've let's see, we had 3 kids home sick today with this junk. So at least around here, everyone vaccinates their kids, so it's not the measles or rubella or something, yellow fever, or dysentery or something. I don't know, but these poor kids, they're just, and then half the school's sick, so they won't just, like you said, the parents won't keep them home. They get a little sticker and a pizza party if they have perfect attendance, so they might as well go in.
Don't you hate parents like that? They just like over fucking do it when it comes to that. My child has had perfect attendance since she was 5.
They have the bumper sticker on the back of their minivan. Oh, look, that's perfect attendance.
Perfect attendance. Yeah. My honor student's got perfect attendance and she's good to go. She can come in here, and that's look, she's good to go.
Instead of pizza parties, I want to make the parents T-shirts and like little pins for their lapels or whatever, and bumper stickers for their soccer vans and everything, and they can just toot their own horns because it's not up to the kids.
Right, exactly. Oh, I think it's funny. Perfect attendance. Oh, you got, whoa. So somebody passed. Oh, congratulations, Brandon, on passing the promotion board today. Good job. You got to go. Cool. That's good shit, man. Make sure you, as a leader and as a sergeant, make sure you pass the knowledge that you have down to your subordinates. Make sure you take it them. Make sure now at this point you are now going to be in a fishbowl, constantly seen by your subordinates, and that you have to make sure that you do the right thing when soldiers are not fucking looking, so that way you have informal norms instilled, and that way the dedication of duty to your soldiers understand, so that way you're not letting them down as a leader. But anyways, that's my leadership pitch today. So good job there, Brandon. That's what I'm talking about. Good job passing the promotion board. That's good shit. You're lucky I wasn't sitting on a promotion board for you. No, I'm just kidding.
Now he needs to listen on Thursdays and learn all the big sergeant words to pass down.
I have been forbidden by Spanky to not say the forbidden words. I cannot say. The only time I can say the 2 words that it's like fingernails on a chalkboard to her, I can only say on Thursday. I can't say on a Monday show because it has nothing to do with the Monday show. It has nothing to do with all that stuff. And so it's, I got to kind of leave those words out because I don't want Spanky to get the ass. So Radar has, somebody said you have a yuck accent. I know. Yeah, she's even saying you're gonna see she's gonna shut this down. Yeah, we were already talking about Radar's accent. Anyways.
I mean, I'll do it. I will.
Well, you're talking about you're talking
say
about
those words on a Monday.
I know. I've been. You see how the staff treats me? Damn, man. I get told. Oh man. I mean, it was so much of. See, I couldn't even say it. I can't even say that stuff.
I'll put up with it on Thursday.
Yeah, I got my ass reamed. So, anyways, I'm just kind of like saying, I got to be quiet. I gotta shut up. So.
Do Monday things, not the B's and Z's.
Yeah, exactly. Not the B's and Z's and all this other stuff. I'm talking about all that crap. I really don't want to. Yeah, really. Why do I want to talk about news and shit, man? It's like this is like bad news. It's like a bad news Monday. Everyone's talking about the Oscars. Everyone's talking about the, yeah, just like I don't care. Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, he's an E4P. No, you're just a specialist that has been considered promotable. Don't be throwing that P shit up. Knock it off, Cos. Don't give him an idea. Don't give me any ideas. Don't give me any ideas. No, it's not the Donza word. She doesn't. Nope. Spanky doesn't care about the Donza word. She laughs and goes, "Oh my God," and rolls her eyes. Cos. But when it comes to the other stuff, I can't say it on a Monday. But anyways. So I guess everyone's flipping out. Did anybody watch? Did you watch the Oscars, Radar, at all?
No, I did not. I don't remember what was on, but it was something more important than the Oscars.
Oh, thanks, William. See, look at that. The People's Republic of U.S. WTFM. Thanks, William. I appreciate it. I appreciate your support. Oh, you're a sergeant going to staff sergeant. Oh, okay. Well, then I'm still imparting the lead. Those words, what I said before about leadership, man. Come on, dude. Congrats. That's awesome. That's a big step, man, making that sergeant to staff sergeant. Because what people are going to be doing is going to be looking at you like, oh, well, now that you're promotable sergeant, we can put you in this staff sergeant slot. So congrats, man. Good job. That's what I'm talking about. Always out to make the Army better. I don't know. Are you going to get in trouble for posting a comment in here saying that you're not supposed to be looking at it, or you're supposed to be in here? So that way, I can see that. Everyone can see that. Parade rest. Parade rest for your P status. You better respect my authority. Why are we talking about promotion shit on Monday? God, this is like this. I hate. See, this is just like a sucky Monday. It's Monday sucks. The weather sucks. News sucks. Knicks sucks. Mets sucks. Yankee sucks. I'm just saying this because Flash is not here. Yeah, I'm saying that. Yeah, I'm totally saying that. Because Flash isn't here to do sports page. He's not here to do rants. Flash is on a mission. Flash is actually doing stuff. He's not donzing. He's not doing it. He is actually doing some. He is out in the world stage. Flash is going out doing some stuff for God and country. So he's gonna go out and go, whatever. We never know. Might get a phone call, or might get a couple of live vids from Flash. You never know. He's out doing stuff. So, anywho, so I guess we gotta hit the news, man. So I guess the Supreme Court bypassed the chance to further expand the ability of religious entities to receive public funding, leaving the place on Monday to a lower court, ruling that blocked a New Jersey county from giving historic preservation grants to churches. The justices opted not to hear any of the appeals, but ruling that Morris County violated state constitutional ban on using public funds to repair a place of worship when it gave millions of dara to 12 churches under the grant. 12 churches, millions of dara. Are we kind of like, is this kind of like stepping the state funding stuff when it comes to churches not being a 501c?
But aren't some historical buildings or churches allowed some of that? I thought they were.
There you go, Red Art. That's what I'm talking about. Exactly that. There are some statutes in the U.S. government that considers them a national landmark if they're dated at a specific time. So, for instance, like the signing of the Constitution, even though it could have been a beer hall, or it could have been a whorehouse, or it could have been a church, it is owed restoration, right? Isn't that how it works when it's a state park or something, national park? So individuals are trying to say that taxpayer funds are going to religious institutions when they're just kind of looking at it. Hey, this is just a historical thing. So if it's like an old historical building that just happened to have been a church, does it kind of roll into is that church and states type shit? Is that supporting a religion?
It shouldn't be, but all those churches, there should be a register for National Historic Buildings or state historic buildings or whatever. So if they're on that, they should be afforded the same funding as if they were, the courthouse or the post office, or, there's bars that are on the historic registry. I don't understand why certain churches couldn't be.
Well, you're right. My thing is just the placement of what it is. If it just so happens to be in a historic building, and it just so happens that historic building is a church, or could have been a warehouse. Like I said, it could have been a whorehouse, a bar, a fucking store, a marketplace. It could have been anything that was of historical significance. I think people are picking pepper out of fly shit when it comes to something like that. It's kind of like splitting hairs by saying, oh, it's a church. It is a historic preservation grant that has to do with historic preservation.
Yeah, because they can't use that money to, I don't know, pay off the lawyers from the rape allegations or something like that. They have to use it for building improvements.
Who said we were talking about Catholic churches? Damn. Savage
I didn't.
Savage radar.
I didn't directly address it as that. You just put some pieces together. But those in those grants, it does say what they have to write the grant. I'm going to use it for a new roof on my historic church, and you have to use it for that. There's no like, oh, I'm going to use it for a new Mercedes or whatever for the priest. I'm going to use it for a certain purpose, and it goes towards a certain purpose. And I live near Deadwood, and Deadwood, the whole town is a National Historic Landmark. And people get the money to paint their shutters and put a new screen door on. And some of the buildings are casinos. Some of them are old whorehouses. Some of them are old bars, and they get the same funding if they go through the same process. So to me, I don't see the difference between an old church and an old casino or old whorehouse in the process of that.
Amen to that, brother. Amen. Right. Thank you. See, that's what I said. It shouldn't matter. It should not matter. If it's a historic building, it should be given grants and all that. I don't know why the court should be anybody should be blocking it. I think it's because it's got the church connotation to it. And people are just like really getting it, kicking it over in overdrive on the outrageness of the outrage. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, and it doesn't even matter what kind of we didn't say it it was a Catholic church or a Protestant church or a whatever church. So, because some people that matters whether it's a Catholic church or whatever. But there are a lot of people, and it's becoming almost in vogue to just hate on certain institutions for, I'm going to say, no reason. I'm not particularly religious, but I don't go out of my way to make sure that church isn't going to get a new roof. And that kind of seems to be some people's prerogative nowadays.
Yeah, I'm really done with the everyone picking on everybody just because we're just trying to do something like that. You're just trying to get it's in a historic building and it's going to get a grant. Well, no, it's a church. It's a historic building. There's no need to stop it. There's no need to crack down on it. There's no need to shut up. There's no need. There's no need to shut the funding just because of that. So yeah, it's just kind of one of those things. God, it's like, well, I just can't believe that people are just getting pissed off about something so stupid, about something like that. Do I want to get politics? Yeah, okay. Oh, God, what do we want to talk about? I hate. You know what? I'm just not really in the politic mood. I'm not in a politics mood. All I know is that Kamala Harris wants to make prostitution and marijuana legal. There. Let's talk about that. Do you think that's legit? What about that? Huh? Do you think it's cool that Kamala Harris wants to wants to do that? Wants to have legalized prostitution?
I think if Dee Treasy went right now and legalized that, both of those, both marijuana and prostitution and everything else, every other quote unquote crime that doesn't have a victim, I think if he did that today, people will be voting Republican for the next 30 years.
Yeah. What? I'm surprised he's not announced it though. I'm surprised he literally has not said anything about wanting to legalize. I mean, he's not. He he first kind of talked about it. He first talked about way back in the beginning when he was running. But as soon as it came to I don't know, once just like any other politician, what do you go from there, dude? You promised to everybody that you wanted to freaking you wanted to legalize or use medicinal marijuana for our veterans and all that, but then it didn't happen. So that kind of like goes, So what's up with that? But
well, I think there still are some hurdles to that, though. There is no legit test right now to if somebody is driving under the influence, and there are some other little problems like that. But for the most part, there's no victim, there's no crime. We go through and why is something like marijuana illegal? There was a story in my home state right now. There was I believe it was a high school principal had child porn on his computer and got like 45 days. And then on the exact same page, there was a guy who had like 3 pounds of pot and got 10 years. Which one is a bigger crime?
Yeah.
And so we have all this mishmash of, marijuana is so bad. And, in 30 some states now and the District of Columbia have legalized at least for medicinal purposes.
Correct.
The majority of the country and all these polls coming out, and I don't trust polls because, Hillary Clinton, but, we go through and the majority of the people, the attitude in this country has changed away from they're going to smoke the reefer and listen to jazz music and whatever, to it's a legitimate thing, even in recreational terms. And I find it kind of amusing that a lot of these politicians now, they're of that age that they grew up in the 60s and 70s. And when they were in college, I bet they wouldn't have passed a piss test, but here we are, and they're still fighting against it. And I think there's a lot more money involved in it than we'll probably ever know at this point. But I think they're just pushing against the tide. Eventually, in the next probably 5-10 years, it's going to be legal at a federal level. So why not? If, like I said, if Dee Treasy uses his executive pen to say, nope, we're going to do this, I really feel like he would get very little to no kickback, at least politically, from the populace.
Well, Brandon in the chat says that worrying about legalizing prostitution will increase the sex trade, such as assaults and taking advantage of minors and forced labor. I think you're talking about human trafficking. Yeah, I think in some countries it's I don't want to say it's decriminalized, but it is a unspoken legal. You know what I mean? It's unspoken. It's legal, and it's not really a big deal because, like you said about the consenting adult thing, and also she wants to legalize. She wants to decriminalize prostitution, decriminalize use of marijuana, and make it a big, make it just completely 100% out. Out like this. It should not be. Cause she even said herself. I mean, she said that it is. She said it's. She thought that sex work should not be treated as a crime. She said.
Well,
she says. And here's what she said. She's like, and quote, I was advocating then that we have to stop arresting those prostitutes and go after the Johns and the pimps because we are criminalizing the women, unquote. So that's what she was talking about, that she's trying to make a distinction of, that people are just kind of like going, no, because you're trying to say that you're getting involved in something like human trafficking, like Brandon said.
But if we look at the Bunny Ranch or Vegas, is there a big problem with human trafficking there in those kind of environments? I guess every time I've been to Vegas, and I'm not going to say that I've ever solicited a prostitute, but every time I've seen it, it has been an adult that shows up, not a child.
So, you're not saying you're soliciting prostitution, but when you but when they show up, it's not a child. Okay, I got a bite on that one. Okay, I'm not saying that I smoke weed, but I know that when I smoke this cigarette thing, I get high. But I'm just not saying I'm smoking weed. I hear you, Radar. I hear you, man. This is classic.
We got the cards at the airport, and we had to try calling them. We had to try, but I didn't try, even though I probably could have. But there was a bunch of us that all stayed in one room for this bachelor party, and when the entertainment showed up, they were of legal age.
Yeah. I mean, I got it. I'm just saying, Yeah, I got it. Oh my god, I think it's funny. Oh god. Hey, you know what? Whatever. To each his own.
Well, from a woman's point of view, I would say legalize it, and then it could be regulated. Then you would know they're not forced against their will. I'm like, what's the difference from let's say I go do it in front of a camera and get paid for it. Okay, because the porn is legal. So if I do it behind closed doors and get paid for it, that's illegal. Like, okay, so turn the fucking camera on, and now I'm making a porn video. So what's the difference?
So you're saying that you should be, so there's got to be a cooter certificate of registration or something like that.
Right. Well, I'm sure. Like I said, I used to watch the Bunny Ranch show on HBO or Showtime or whatever channel it was on years ago. Like, they're all registered somehow. They have some type of license to operate the Bunny Ranch. Vegas figured it out, or Nevada did. So I'm like, what's stopping, the rest of the country, except for, oh my God, we can't do that because prostitution's bad. Weed is bad. Everything is bad. Like consenting adults, not talking human trafficking, talking about consenting adults that would like to do that for a living instead of, working at fucking McDonald's with, to pay their way through college or whatever it is they want to do it for.
What's up, Polo, the Mixer Chat? How you been, man? Oh, thank you. We love you too. No, you're right. It's a consenting adult type of thing. It's like a transaction that you would do for somebody mowing your lawn, right? Ooh, that's a bad pun. Or laying pipe. I mean, hang on. I mean, is it a big deal? I mean, is to some people, is it like a do you think at that point, like when it comes to like a straight up kind of like a Craigslist type thing, she opens up an LLC or something like that, she's got a Cooter Enterprises or something like that.
Well, that's just it. If it was legal, they wouldn't have to do it all behind closed doors, and it takes away like all the negative part of it. And like then you'd have a fucking license, just like a cab driver or something. I don't know.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And I'm sure they would have you would have to get tested. You'd have to do this. You wouldn't have, I guess you would have to pay taxes on your money. I think that would be the downside of it.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. It would be like you'd have to could you imagine what DMV would be like? What would you call it? What would you go to? What would you call it? I mean, it's kind of like instead of like division of motor vehicles, division of vaginal entertainment. What would you? I'm going down to the DVE. Yeah, I'm gonna go to the DVE. Yeah, DVE. What the fuck is that?
Could be both sexes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, exactly. So, what would you call it? Would you be, the DHE,
sexual entertainment.
Yeah, exactly. The Department of, Department of Sexual Entertainment, DSE. I'm going to DSE to register for what? Yeah, I gotta go. Yeah, you're right. What about male prostitutes too? It doesn't have to be women. What about male prostitutes? What if they want to be? What? There's an old Eddie Murphy skit. Just check it out on YouTube. It's called "I Want to Be a Hoe." Hooker tax. That's right. Tax them. You're really tempted to make a comparison to gun laws and prostitution? Well, throw it in there, man. See what happens. What you got? What do you got to say about that? Drop that in the chat. You got you got 5 minutes. You got 3 minutes, 2 minutes to freaking throw your comment in there so we can laugh and talk about. What are you talking about this comparison to gun laws and prostitution? Because you're going to talk about male and female now. You can't just talk about male. I mean, females just automatically think that, you're there to, you're going to open up the fucking meat socket department at the fucking DMV or something like that when you got to talk about, both guys and gals. So make your comparison. Department of Snatch, hooker tax, special penetration tax. You guys are awesome. I'm serious. What would you do? I mean, how would that come about? How would you write that in there? What would you what would you say? What would you put in there? What kind of a tariff? What kind of legality? What's the amount of is it like alcohol where you get rationed? Is it like a ration card when you're overseas? Is it what is it? What when if prostitution would be made legal? Then what would you I mean, you got the tax. Who gets the cut? Is it you just fill out, you get W-2? Is that how it works? Once you file and you got to report your taxes, like tips, like a waitress or something like that? The service industry? That's a good one. Someone said service industry.
Is that going to have like the $15 an hour minimum wage as well, and Medicaid and all that? And but I actually think that it would help, just do like a regular income tax, 1099 it or W-2 it. I want to see all those pimps in them fur coats handing out W-2s at the end of January.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why does it have to be? But what does it got to be? What if it's a woman? What if she is the proprietor of the establishment that houses all types of hoes, male hoes and women hoes? You know what I mean? Do they have conventions? Are they going to be lobbying in Congress? Or is there going to be a hoe party? You have the Republican Party, the Green Party, the Tea Party, and the hoe party. Lobbying before Congress to have rights for hoes. Oh my God.
I want to know what kind of tests they're going to have at the DMV.
Right. How do you study? What's the well, I'm saying what type of it's by weight. Well, how is prostitution regulated in the blue light and red light districts of Amsterdam? Well, it's just like any other European country. They actually have to get checked out. There's got to be like a certificate, and that stuff. There has to be some sort of certification within the Department of Health of those areas to do that. And then they gotta like proudly display it. Like, you know, when you go to a tattoo shop or you go to a fucking taco truck, it's gotta have the certificate of health on there, and it's got like a 98.5 rating or something like that. It's the same thing. I'm not sure on the beef curtain count though, but I'm pretty sure that there's a rating for it. I can't take this serious. Whole lives
Well, I was just looking it up. Like, you know, in Nevada, they have to pay for weekly STD test and sex worker registration cards. That price varies by county. Nye County charges prostitutes $150 each quarter to register, plus another $150 annually. So, you know, they got to get tested weekly and then pay, you know, quarterly to be a registered prostitute.
Right, but
in that particular county.
But I thought they were required to have the use of condoms though, right? Isn't that the whole thing?
I haven't found that particularly. I'm pretty sure I would not be doing it without a condom. So, but they still have to get tested weekly.
Right. No, I was just yeah, correct. I can see that. No, but you're saying, but they do get a business like they're considered independent contractors, like, you know, like mercenaries. They're like cooter mercenaries or something like that. Or there's 97 prostitutes registered in the county, by the way. You know, not that we've been doing a whole research on it, but it was just a subject that just came up. I can't believe you just did. Thanks, Radar. Good job.
Yeah, Mama Radar is going to come check my browser history and wonder what I've been doing in this room all by myself.
We're going to take a quick break so we can get Mark Baker to come on, and then we'll be shooting the breeze in a second. So, shots. We'll see you in a sec.
WTF Nation Radio. WTF Nation Radio.
Take it from me, Ice. You can't just float around space not caring about stuff forever.
The voice of U.S. Army. WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Shit in the bag, Pogue. take this photograph, tell me what it is you see when you look at me. Deep into the photography, I don't really need your sympathy, just tell me your thoughts. Have I got what they got, and is it a plot done for naught? Am I not like you, because I do what I do? Who knew that I could lose a few of you, cause I bleed blue? But it's true, I know, cause I see it every day as I work and I sleep the day away. Like you I have pain, and like you I have fear. Can I pay all of the bills and still make it through the year? Will I make it home alive? Should I pray to the sky every day and every night? Will I hold you by my side? But in the public eye, I don't even have a heart. A robot of the system moving only when I'm told to start. Rip apart my art, I'm strong like a flower blooming. You got it all wrong, I know I'm I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
Call me a vet like a soldier, Green Beret, 21 gun salute, don't wanna see the day. In the constant war zone, in the home of the brave, where they hate the police until they saving the day. I got kids like you, a mortgage like you, so blue lives matter, and so does yours too. All this separation and divide, open your eyes. If you cut us all open, we the same inside. The only difference is I run to the gunfight. Your peace when it's chaos, when the people don't act right. But I'm under scrutiny for trying to protect me. Pull a pistol and I'm shooting for trying to contest me. I got a quick second to make a deadly decision. The media portray me like a kid for a living, like I'm cold with no heart, a brain with no thoughts, a body with no feeling, a life with no cause.
Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. I'm damned if I do, and damned if I don't. It's like every single time I say what's on my mind, they go for my throat, they spew evil words. If you are absurd, always grinding, grinning, and killing my soul with these verbs. Hold me down, like I can't gasp for air. I'm closed inside of a box, like I'm inside Fort Knox. Every time that I'm there, I don't know why they think that I'm different from you. All that's true is I'm a like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human. Like you breathe, I breathe, and like you see, I see, and like you need, I need, and like you bleed, I bleed. Don't treat me like an object, I'm tested and proven. Mind, heart, and soul, I'll always be a human.
I am here determined to stop this future atrocity.
This station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
And we're back with our guest, Mark Baker. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks, Ice. Thanks for having me.
Oh, my God, dude. You are an icon comparable to U.S. Army WTF Moments. I'm just telling you right now.
Okay, I don't know about that, but
well,
thank you.
Oh my God, we as soon as we found out from the front desk that you were coming on the show, I was stoked. Spanky was stoked, being the fact that when I was coming up in the Army, back in the day, your comic, Private Murphy, and I'm gonna be showing a little bit of some of the slides here. Private Murphy was one of the, I guess you would say, if there was any, like I said earlier, if there was any graphic depiction of the antics in the Army that was from the U.S. Army WTF Moments, Private Murphy was the plank holder. It's incredible.
Well, thank you very much.
Tell us about yourself in the military sense. and then we'll kick it off from there.
Oh, okay. So, well, I'm retired Army. I retired Master Sergeant. I joined initially as a 19 Delta Cavalry Scout back in '85, and after my first 5 or so years, hating it, I got out. I was recalled to active duty for Desert Storm, released from active duty again. I arrive home. I'm completely out of money. I had been living off my GI Bill, going to school full time, working 2 jobs, and it's like they were tracking me or something, because as soon as I, walk back in the door, the phone rings. It's a recruiter who says, "Hey, I see you just got out." I'm like, "How could you even know that?" And he says, "Look, he says, do you want to come back in?" And I said, "Yeah. What do you got for me?" I mean, because at this time, like I said, I'm broke. I was 2 weeks into my second semester of college, and when I got recalled, I go down there and I say, "Hey, I've been recalled to active duty," and the young lady at the desk there says, "Okay, well, I see you got a grant for $600. We're going to need that back right now." And it was just a bad scene. I get back, I'm broke, so I would have done anything. I would have came back in as a cook. And the recruiter says, "Well," I said, "What do you got for me?" And he says, "Well, look, you can come back in and be Special Forces, or we've got this other thing called the 98 X-ray. We're going to teach you a foreign language. You're going to get a top secret security clearance, and do this military intelligence job." And I was just like, "Wow, okay, I like that one. What are you, an angel sent from above? Let's go." So, so I came back in. They took me down a rank because I was changing jobs, although I was really, I'd been out of the Army really for like 2 weeks. So I went from sergeant to specialist, came back in, went to school to learn Russian, and then, and then just came back in the Army and then did my thing.
Okay, so tell us, okay, come on. You make it sound like it was just doing my thing. Tell us about Private Murphy. What was the reason why you created Private Murphy?
Okay, so, well, I've always liked to draw. That's all, all I've ever really wanted to do was be a comic book artist. So, I was always drawing pictures of the guys in my unit and, doing little, like in-house cartoons, that no one else would really get unless you were there and so forth. But I was at Fort Bragg.
That's what I'm talking about.
And,
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Fort Bragg, and the guys there are like, "Yeah, these are great. You need to go down. You need to put these in the paper." The Fort Bragg, or the Paraglide.
The Paraglide, right.
Right. And I was, I'm looking at these cartoons. I mean, these are, some raunchy, terrible, horrific things. I'm like, no one's going to publish this. Let me do something a little bit more tame. And so I did, the very first cartoon I did was the 5 points of performance.
Yep.
And I took it down there. And I remember the editor, his name was Sergeant Bean. He says, "Yeah, this is cool, but here's the deal. We don't want to just run one cartoon. If we're going to do this, you need to give us something every week." And I hadn't thought about it up until then. I was just drawing these, cartoons. And I said, "Okay, well, let me see what I can come up with." So then I started doing the cartoon. I just like, okay, I don't even know no, actually, I think there was a guy in my unit named Murphy. So, I took his name, Murphy's Law, put it together and started drawing these cartoons. And just kept at it for years.
Now you submitted the cartoon to a very well-known Soldier Weekly newspaper known as the Army Times. Tell us about that. How did that roll out?
Well, so after the Paraglide, and I, and then sometimes, some of my cartoons, I guess they're controversial. I don't think so at all, but a couple things I did got me in trouble. The Paraglide stopped printing them. I got them into a few other papers. I submitted to the Army Times repeatedly, and they had no interest whatsoever. But I built up a relationship with the cartoonist there. His name was Jim McLeod, and he was a staff cartoonist. Well, sometime around 96, I think. He says, "Hey, look, I'm retiring. They're not going to hire a new in-house cartoonist, but this would be the time for you to, submit your cartoons." So I did, and was still rejected. But then I got stationed at Fort Belvoir in Virginia, and it just so happens that the Army Times, that's where they publish out of. So I went there in person, and what I found is it's a lot harder to tell somebody no when they're standing in front of your desk,
Yeah, exactly.
So I showed up there and I was like, "Hey, look, here's, these cartoons. You guys have been turning them down for years. What do you say?" They said, "Okay, we'll take a look." So they called me back in a couple weeks later, and they have the stack of the cartoons. I think I gave them about 50 cartoons, and they said, "Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you a trial run. If it works out, if this is something our that has value to our paper, we'll keep running them." I'm like, "Okay, cool, let's do that." And so they did, and then they started running. I mean, for years. And that was 2000. I think it ran until 2008, 2009. And but that initial, okay they gave me, I'm walking out. I've got the stack of cartoons they gave back to me. I'm panning through them, and I see where they're like, there were check marks on some of them, and others it was like they had, NF on there, November Foxtrot, and I was like, "Well, what's that?" Oh, not funny.
Wow.
So, yeah. So I did that. So, and then for the years with the Army Times, I had gone through like 7 different editors. They had like a feature editor. Some editors were, cool. Some of them weren't so cool. But I remember I had an editor. He was a former Marine. This guy was fantastic. I couldn't believe it. I just come from an editor. I don't know who he was, but he'd reject like 3 out of 7 cartoons. I get this former Marine, and every cartoon I send him, he just publishes it. Not a question asked, not, no hassle whatsoever. But that guy lasted there like 3 months, and then he split, for, something better. And then I got a sling of, a slew of editors. The final one, so the Army Times and I had a falling out, and that was pretty much the end of Murphy being in there. But it was due to, I don't know exactly what I did. The whole thing about Murphy, he was on the op-ed page. He was kind of a, not anti-Army, but definitely, poked a lot of fun at, high-ranking and even, senior NCOs or whatever, But at some point, I got on the bad side of someone, and it started turning into every cartoon I turned in started becoming an issue, and they'd ask me about the weirdest things, like, well, I don't think that's the correct color of green in Murphy's uniform, or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, so it started becoming a real hassle, and then they didn't pay me because at this point, I started off giving them cartoons, I think free of charge, then 25 per cartoon. Then over the years, I got it up to where they were paying me about $120 per cartoon, which was pretty cool.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
But they hadn't paid me for about 2 months, and I called them up and I said, "Hey, what's going on?" And they passed me off to the senior editor, and I said, "Hey, what's going on?" He says, "Well, we don't have any type of contract with you." And I said, "Well, okay, well, I'm just a freelancer, write something up." So he sent me a work for hire contract. So luckily for me, I didn't sign this thing and send it back to him because, after, doing some Google, what I found is that a work for hire contract means that you give up all rights to your intellectual property.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that either. Wow.
Right. So he said they couldn't pay me unless I signed this thing. And I said, well, after I've looked into it, I'm not going to sign this, anyway. And that was pretty much the end of that. But if you do work for hire for a paper, you're not a freelancer. What you're saying is my work now belongs to you. And as soon as I signed the paper, they could have turned around and said, "Okay, well, this is ours now. We can have someone else draw the cartoon and you're out." I would have signed over all rights to my cartoon. So I'm pretty glad I didn't do that.
Yeah, good call. So so then afterwards, did it seem like they were not? What? Because then you left and then you came back again, right?
No, I tried to come back, and they didn't take me back. And at this point, I'm coming back to the Army Times with my hat in my hand, like, hey, I'm not even asking to get paid. Just I'll give you Private Murphy free of charge, and they said no.
Wow. Wow.
So that was a bummer. So then I just started posting on Facebook.
Well, I mean, we have some comments in the chats, and this is some of the old school stuff that me and Spanky we remember, is that I would get it. There was three things that I got the Army Times for back in the day. That was, one, to see the stateside swaps, the in and out calls. Two, the cutoff scores. And,
right.
And if my platoon sergeant was going to leave the unit because he was an asshole or something like that, and he got selected, he's going to get reassigned. And three, your comic was, at the time, it was just the normal humdrum stuff. And I got some of some of your panels being rotating right now, that we all could relate to, being in the Army. I mean, from Private Murphy going and being a little knobby-headed private, dealing with drill sergeants, dealing with first sergeants, going to jump school, having to deal with that, and then getting stationed at 20. I remember because I got your collections.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, for Private Murphy going to. After he went from the 82nd, he went to the 25th ID, and he was upset because they don't wear the mop top anymore. And then
right.
and some guy, everyone kept calling him Troop. But the way you drew, it was almost like Private Murphy had his own world, but then he saw platoon sergeants like how we would see him, like some big doofy looking guy going, "Hey Troop, where's your headgear?" Dude, that's what I would think, because we always talked about what would Private Murphy sound like. Like what was his, me and my my fellow NCOs or fellow soldiers at the time when we were young, we would see that, we're like, oh, well, what it would sound like, and then we would like imitate, "Hey Troop, where's your headgear? This is not the airborne," and it seems like Private Murphy has resonated with everybody in the Army when it came to just simple things. It's the stuff that you would just like, oh my God, that really does happen. Do you think you'll ever see Murphy get almost, animated? Because we were talking about that earlier. Getting like a cartoon, like being something like animated as in like a TV show or a webisode or something like that?
Oh, wow. Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, I don't have those skills. I wish I did. If I did, I would try to put something like that together, because I think that really is like the wave of the future.
Right.
We've got, there's your regular, 2D comics. I'm part of a group on Facebook called Milltoons that, it's a group of cartoonists from all the services, and we put cartoons up there. We're kind of, mutually supportive of each other. We try to promote each other. But I see that some of them, because they're a lot younger. I'm 51 years old. So they're more on the cutting edge of technology. And I've seen some of these guys and gals they are doing that. They're animating their cartoons, and I'm envious of their skills, what they can do.
Have you thought doing it like the South Park route and just having it go out and get it outsourced, like how they do it?
I don't. If you have a contact, boy, I am willing to talk to somebody. Actually, but I have no idea who I would contact about that.
Oh, we were talking about that earlier before you came on, of how would it be cool for Private Murphy to act out or hear like some of the stories that we have on U.S. Army WTF Moments, if Private Murphy would like act it out, like if he was, you know what I mean? If he was. There was something that happened with an NCO doing something, and because we have video too, but sometimes it's just funny just when the story gets posted. I always think, and me and Spanky were talking about this too. I always revert to Private Murphy being a sergeant, anyways, because now he's a sergeant, and now he's a sergeant now, right? Is that his?
Yes, yeah, he's staff sergeant right now.
He's a staff sergeant. So how long has Private Murphy been in the Army? You said 95.
I've been doing them since 91, I think I started in 91, and I think I ended somewhere around 2009, but he wasn't public in the Army Times until 2000 through 2009. Yeah.
So is he? So you're saying he has a break of service as well?
yeah, he kind of had a break in service, and he's, you know,
he's doing the
I
school.
mean, he's been rolling. He's been doing his thing for quite some time for just to be a staff sergeant. But
well, yeah, he's probably well. I mean, he's like one of the oldest staff sergeants in the Army right now. We were probably going like, yeah, hey, Sergeant Murphy, when you gonna stop decking and start first class? Did you think that it was gonna be such a big thing with Private Murphy going into the way it is? I mean, how it's. I mean, the feedback that you've been getting about it?
Well, I mean, I've never really seen it as being that popular. I mean, I know that I've sold some books that I published, and I've gotten some some good feedback from folks. But I mean, most of the time, if I was pimping my cartoon out there, I'd run into soldiers and I'd say, hey, I do this cartoon, it's in the Army Times, it's called Private Murphy, have you seen it? And it seems like every single person I ever talked to would say, no. But now that you've said that, I'll go check it out. So I've never the popularity of the cartoon, I don't think, I mean, it's probably, well, I don't know, I hope it's bigger than I think it is, because I don't think it's like as widespread as you're making it sound anyway.
Oh, well, it's you got some panels up right now to 1.2 million followers all over Twitter, Mixer, Facebook Live.
Holy,
Holy
God!
So right now, Private Murphy is making a presence. If there's any opportunity to get Private Murphy out there, Private Murphy's out there now, bro. He's he's in the wins. And I put my favorite comics. My favorite comic panel was the of course the him getting chewed out, standing in parade rest, book cover that you had, the shitters deployed, and then when the warrant officer W5 rank came out, and he's saluting that W5, and he's like, oh my God, that's got to be like the oldest lieutenant I've ever seen.
Right.
And then the Blue Falcon one, everybody knows the Blue Falcon one. I think we can all relate to that. So did it at all? I mean, did the Army Times ever get back with you and say, "Hey, look, man, let's since we're not doing too well on Army Times stuff, do you want to make a comeback?" Have they called you back at all?
No, not at all. And and you're right. I noticed now the Army. Do you remember how they used to have that plastic bag around it?
Yes.
Just like you said. I mean, the only reason anyone would open that thing up, I mean, at least prior to my cartoon, or for me, it was to see, like you said, in-out calls and the promotion points, right?
Right.
And they'd keep you from doing that by having that plastic bag around there. I've noticed they've taken that away, so I think they're falling on hard times. But no, and
they are.
And like you said. You're saying, and here's the other reason why I was skeptical of the popularity of the cartoon. I mean, I keep cranking it out just because, but I put out like a call when I was trying to get back into the Army Times on Facebook, like, hey, here's the editor's email. Can you shoot this dude a line? Tell him, hey, you want to see Murphy back in the Army Times? And then when I talked to him, I was like, hey, are you getting any emails from folks saying they have interest in getting Murphy back in there? And he's like, yeah, we got a couple of emails, but the answer's still no, so yeah, so that's it. I mean, I think, in my mind, I was thinking, wow, if they were getting, just inundated with emails, we want Murphy back, they would have had me back in, but that didn't happen.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Well, like I said, Murphy is up right now, currently as we speak. He's, like I said, we are totally stoked that you have come on here to shoot the shit about yourself, but you're also involved in another type of comic series. You're moving more into a more serious type of graphic novels. Can you tell us about Charlie Mike?
Right, absolutely, and thanks for asking, because really I wanted to say something about that. So yes, so I'm illustrating soldiers' deployment stories, and they're cartoony, but also they're not like Murphy's pretty much PG. I mean, I didn't on purpose, and I've kept it that way. But these new cartoons or illustrations of stories are they're just true to life. I'm taking soldier stories, illustrating them, and then putting them up on the site Charlie Mike Comics. And that started with, so a former infantryman, Ken Warner, had wrote me. He had wrote me a bunch of stories. Well, I had asked him, hey, if you got anything, I was hurting for material for Murphy Comics. He sent me some stuff, and I made a couple Murphy cartoons off of his material. But also, in reading his stories, I got to thinking, wow, this is what I should be doing. I should be taking these stories and turning them into, essentially a comic book, right? Doing this. But the time involved to do it, I just can't, I couldn't do it. I was, working a full-time job and doing that. Even with Murphy, it was very hard meeting a weekly deadline, full, active duty and, doing this on my time off, especially when they're turning down, a bunch of cartoons. But so I started with Ken stories, started doing those, put up the Facebook page and the website, and I started getting, other people interested in their stories being told, which is, it's fantastic. I mean, so now I'm, I've got several folks giving me their stories, and I got to tell you, I mean, so I've read people's stories, and, they go from the full spectrum from, making me laugh so hard I want to piss my pants to, I'm holding back tears on some of them. And I'm, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to tell these stories. Now that I'm getting so many people wanting their story told, my biggest fear is that I'm not going to be able to do them all. And I don't want people getting upset with me because they've submitted a story and they're waiting for it to be published. And they're like, where's this at? Well, it takes, at a minimum, it's like, 3 days to a week for me to complete one story. And there's so many in the queue that I may not get around to. I mean, I will get around to doing people's stories eventually, but I may just take a long time.
Right. Well, and what kind of? Can you give us a little bit of a sneak peek? Can you run the gamut of what type of stories are you talking about? Are you talking about just for instance? Are you talking about just their own personal struggles with the deployments, what their issues they've had with the deployment, leadership failures, that type of stuff? Are you covering that as well? Like, since you said it's not PG rated, so it's like definitely adult themed, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I'm kind of easing into it slow, because, well, I don't know why, but I'm easing into it slow because I'm taking people's stories. Like, there's a couple people like Mike or CQ, and he's the one that set up this interview. His story, so he's sent me stories from him arriving in Iraq, getting integrated with his unit and so forth, all the way up to, there's a bunch of stories in there, but I'm going to take him from his arrival in Iraq, that deployment, to his arrival and, his deployment to Afghanistan, where he was horrifically wounded. Tell that story through there. And then, and now he's, among other things, he's also a stand-up comic. And that's how I wanted to end that with, him on stage. There's my other buddy, Ken Warner. He's got, his stories from Iraq. He initially sent me just like some humorous anecdotes for me to make into Murphy cartoons, but then also he was also wounded, and he's got some stories. So when I do these are going to be, well, I'm telling their stories, and I'm going to try to do it as best I can. But they're real. So this stuff happened. It's not just, what I'm saying. It isn't the movies, and
Right.
it isn't. It's not Sergeant Rock. It's real. And then, and then another soldier, Tom Kearns, he was a dust-off medic. So he's got stories in there, just about, picking up wounded children from, from site, stuff like, those things.
Right. So you're talking about these are personal accounts that these guys have experienced during their time deployed. So whatever,
Absolutely.
So whatever goes in the storytelling, that's what you're going to depict.
Yes, so sometimes I have to admit, so, in trying to get the images work, sometimes I have to admit some of the things they say, but for the most part, I'm keeping their words, their story, and I am just putting pictures along with it. So,
Gotcha. Now, have they given you some of the contributors to the Charlie Mike series? Have they given you like pictures of their deployments? Like, hey, this is how it happened. This is where it was at. Did they give you anything to kind of work off of?
Yes, when they can, if they have it, they do send us to, and I ask for it because, you know, of course, it's hard to, you know, not being there. It's hard to imagine, you know, what it looked like, you know, sounded like, smelled like, whatever. And so if they have pictures, they send them to me. I try to, you know, in a cartoony way, draw them into the cartoon also. Yes, but I mean, pictures, absolutely, pictures help out, because without them, I'm going through the internet looking for pictures to use as, you know, references to draw things.
Right. Have you had anybody from any of the bigger like comic conglomerates ask you? I mean, have you asked them, or have they offered a hand to help you out?
No.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
No, I've never, you know, there has never been a helping hand. And I have reached out, you know, I mean, years ago, I would send stuff out to the different syndicates saying, hey, I get this military cartoon, nothing. And I met Mort Walker, the guy that did Beetle Bailey.
Yeah, he's a legend too.
Absolutely. So, and, you know, so I met him, and I told him, hey, you know, I know you have pretty much you are the main guy for features syndicate for cartooning. You know, here's my cartoon. Any chance you can help me out here? Because, you know, I've got nothing but rejection letters. And he just laughed. He kind of pat me on the back, like, there. He says, you know, we all have our stacks of rejection letters. Just keep at it. And I was like, okay, thanks. And that was it. He didn't help me out any more than that, than give me that advice. Keep plugging, trooper.
Wow. So, do you think that sometimes, you know, I'm not at all, you know, to disparage anybody. Do you kind of feel like there's some freaking haters out there on this? Like, is it because you're hating on me? Is it because you didn't like the popularity of it? Because I'll be honest with you, I can already tell right now, just by you working on Private Murphy and now moving to this venture, I am totally and 100% positive your audience for Murphy is totally going to eat up what you're going to do for Charlie Mike. Does that make sense?
Well, I hope so.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, but like the hate portion of it, that you know, guys just drinking haterade. You know, the other groups out there, they're like, oh, this Mark Baker guy coming up. Do you ever feel like, hey, why would you hook it up? You know, hook it up. Is it because you hate me or something? Do you ever feel like asking that shit sometimes?
Well, yeah, I mean, and I feel that is the case. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I've definitely got my share of hate mail, but
ooh, you got hate mail. Can you go? I mean, you don't have to give names, but can you elaborate a little bit?
Oh, well, shoot, I'd have to grab one of my books, because I actually took the hate mail and put it into one of the books. No, well, I mean, just hold on a second. Let me grab one down.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, go for it. We would love to read it.
One is pretty choice, but
no, go for it.
But you know, I talked to the other cartoonists in my group, and it just seems like that's just something that happens. As a matter of fact, we almost take it as that's like the you know, that's the point where you have arrived. Once you start getting haters, it means you've reached enough people that where not everybody likes it.
Right.
It's like an accomplishment.
Right, exactly. No, it's like a badge of honor when you get the hate. We know. Oh, we know about the hate. We get it too. We get the hate too. Everybody hates us in one shape or form when it comes to that. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, and I'm trying to find it. Oh, okay. So here we are. This is kind of a short one. I like this one. This is really great. But it's a cartoon I did. I've got a sergeant major and a lieutenant. And the lieutenant, or the sergeant major, saying, "Lieutenant, don't ever contradict my orders in front of the troops again."
Right.
And the lieutenant says, now, sergeant major, let's not forget who outranks who here.
Right.
So this is the email I got. Now, sergeant major, what an insult to 30 years of service by a 1.5-year kid. As a former command sergeant major, I found this offensive and drama producing. For all of them, I'm in charge, young lieutenants. Please clean up your act. You know very well that lieutenants don't outrank sergeants major. You must be a rifted retired officer, warrant, or a soldier who ETS'd without reaching full potential, and now are making your point. Excuse my bluntness, but this is what I perceive here. Am I correct? I bet I am. You cannot be a retired senior NCO for sure.
I get that too. I love it. Oh, they always think about that, man. They always think you're some disgruntled fucking specialist that got chapped out on something like that. You know what I mean?
It's crazy, and I'm not disgruntled. My God, we're soldiers, right? I mean, most of the soldiers I know, their skin is not that thin. You know, they can take a joke.
Some. Well, the audience. Well, yeah, the soldier. It just seems to think that you. I think that's one thing about some of the material that U.S. Army WTF moments or we say on air. It strikes a nerve because sometimes the shoe fits. You know? And
right, I think that's probably the case, right?
Yeah. So you get some guy going, well. Now you said the guy that wrote you that said 30 plus years and said you were like probably what 1.5 or something like that. You were just that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Well, because everybody. Well, I mean, you were being kind of technical when you think about it. You were literally just depicting the standard act that a butter bar talking to a sergeant major does. That's what he does. A butter bar gets so instilled with the I'm gonna command troops and I'm gonna do this and nobody can stop me. I outrank everybody. Nobody, That's it. If all the enlisted are I outrank all of them. So that's a normal LT reaction until you lose them in the field or something like that. What's really funny is that you were saying that the thick skin sometimes it gets a little thinner as it goes up in rank in the response, because we get the same thing when I get hate mail. I can't believe you're a sergeant major talking this shit right here in the air. Blah 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 blah. You're discredited to the Army. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. Same thing. I'm pretty sure you get the same thing.
Right? Have you seen a trend? Because I definitely saw a trend. It was not. Well, obviously, it wasn't lower enlisted. It wasn't even. Even if I poked fun at lieutenants, I guess they're just so used to it. They're like, I don't give a shit. But it was never. That. It was if anybody really got the hate on for me and sent it my way, took time to sit down and write me a letter, it was senior NCOs and field grade officers.
Yeah, see, we just tested it right now. See right here on WTF Nation Radio, Charlie Mike and Private Murphy creator Mark Baker and Ice, Sergeant Major Ice have confirmed that the senior in rank, the more butthurt you get. There is so much ass pain at the senior ranks because sometimes the truth hurts. So with the Charlie Mike series, how many stories do you have so far? How far are you planning on pushing this out? Like, what is the timeline? I guess you would say, is it gonna, like you said, it was weekly, right? So how many weeks are you looking to push out?
Oh, I am looking to do this until I die.
Wow. Okay.
Essentially, I'm looking to do this from here on out. This is all I'm doing right now is, there's some other, illustrations and stuff I'm doing, but my main focus is, doing Private Murphy, because he continues to roll on Facebook
right
weekly, and doing the Charlie Mike, which, like I said, it takes longer to do the Charlie Mike, but I'm devoting all my time to doing just this. So, I've set myself my own deadline of, I want to be able to get out a Charlie Mike each week, which I think I can do, being as, I'm at the drawing board 10, 12 hours a day.
Wow.
Doing these things. But I just started, so the website kicked off February 1st, and I think there's maybe, I've put out maybe eight cartoons so far, 8 stories so far.
That's awesome. Now you said you do this by yourself. Ever considered having somebody coming in and helping you out? Like, I don't know, if you gave me the template for Private Murphy, could I help? Type thing. That would be an awesome job, huh, Spanky? Just knocking out, could you imagine me and you doing Private Murphy? Like, Mark just gives us the material and we just draw it out for him, or, if we knew how to draw.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Well, I guess I guess that's the thing. It's finding other artists that would be willing to do that, you know.
Right. Now,
because I can't pay anybody, and no one wants to work for free.
Yeah, right. Right, exactly. Well, I mean, we do this all voluntary too. So, I mean, you're right. I hear you. Now so you're are you looking to like do some sort of apprenticeship with somebody to help this along? I mean, I think it would be an awesome program to some like a mentor to mentor. Or do you feel kind of protected? You don't want Private Murphy to go anywhere because of a specific way you draw or the way he looks.
You know what? I've never really thought about it. I mean, I guess I am pretty protective of my, you know, my work, but I'm at the same time, I'm not, I'm open to, if someone wanted to, you know, I mean, I've done collaborations with people, but I never handed over the reins completely to anyone to do the cartoon.
Right. Well, I want to say like completely hand it over, but just to, hey, look, you'd be their supervisor. You know what I mean? To kind of get them some bona fides and then get them some. I guess you could say, hey, look, you know, because to an aspiring artist, that would be kind of like one of those things that, you know, like you said, with the I'm an old guy too, man. So I know the deal. I know the technology. Everybody here on the WTF Nation Radio staff has still helped me with technology because I'm kind of goofed up on that. But there's kids out there that could use a Wacom tablet and knock this out on a computer like real quick. And I was just kind of wondering, have you considered just looking around and finding some old graphic artists, some 25 mics in the Army? Have you put out a call out for it? Oh, we'll do it right now. Do you want some help? 25 mics. Reach out. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, you can do that. I mean, unfortunately, I guess the only other cartoonists I know are doing their own cartoons. So, yeah, so no one's looking at like, hey, I'll do this for you. No, I haven't thought about it, but I mean, you can put that out there. If someone's really interested and they want to take over the illustrating, or even, I don't know, maybe even do a collaboration. I'm open to it.
Wow.
Definitely.
All right, Nation, you just heard it. Mark Baker just said throw it out. So just make sure you hit us at contact@WTFNationRadio.com so that way we can get the information to Mark, so that way he can vet them and all that. But don't be upset. Just like Mort Walker, there's going to be a stack of rejection. I mean, you can't screw up Private Murphy, man, because you will be messing up my Army childhood. Don't be messing it up. We got some questions from the inbox on there. Is this a nonprofit, the Charlie Mike series?
Well, no. I mean, yes and no. I mean, it's not a nonprofit as far as like. So I have what's called a patron site, and
we posted
what that is
we posted it on in our chats, by the way.
Okay, cool, thanks. So what that is, that's a place where people could go, and if they like what I do, they can donate. It's like $1 a month. I mean, there's different tiers, but all I'm looking for is like $1 a month. And yeah, so no, it's not nonprofit. I mean, I am doing it for what I'm making doing this, which right now is almost nothing. I think I have 20 patrons right now, making about $80 a month before patron takes its cut from you. But that's the thing, you know, and I have it up on my site. I'm not looking to get rich. I'm not looking for like 1 million people to send me $1. I'm just looking to, this is what I want to do. And I can continue to do this as long as I can make a living do it. Not, you know, not rich, just make a living. And if I can get 3,000 patrons, I'll get 3,000 people give me $1 a month. That, along with what's left of my military retirement, I can get by, and then I can just continue doing this cartoon. I have, you know, I've set a deadline right now. Well, not a deadline. My finances have set a deadline. I have about 6 months of saving and so forth that I can get by. And if I can get enough patrons and, you know, keep that up, then I can keep doing this. If not, I'm going to be back in the employment line looking for a job. So I mean, if that happens, I guess that definitely be the time for me to reach out to other illustrators. Like, hey, I've got a lot of stories here, and I really do need some help.
We pinned it on there for you, man, and you just said it. Yeah, we're more than happy. You know, you just said it right now on air. So you got a bunch of followers on U.S. Army WTF Moments, and let's see. So we have the Facebook pages for WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments, so that's almost 2 million together right there. You have
Good
some, you have some you have some listeners on the show on Mixer, which is a gaming streaming service that is on an Xbox. So all Xbox Live's account have Mixer to them. So if they tune into WTF Nation Radio, they'll hear your call. We also have a Twitter account that is being currently retweeted and blasted all over Periscope. So right now there are people listening on Twitter. We are also part of Podcast Nation on iTunes and Google Play. So if you go into iTunes and someone decides to download the podcast, they're going to hear it. I mean, yeah, I think we got the bases covered, bro. One start to the next.
Awesome. Hey, all those people, I mean, I really am. I'm here, with my hat in my hand, kind of, not necessarily begging, but it's like, hey, if you like what I'm doing and you want to help me out, keep doing it. It's $1 a month, people. I'm surprised. I've actually reached out to people I knew in uniform and said, hey, can you support me for $1 a month? And they're like, I really can't right now. Times are tough or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, no hard feelings. I just thought I'd ask, but
right. Well, now you got 1.2 million people that are just heard you have your hand. So hopefully you might get some crowdsourcing in this one, Mark.
Well, awesome. That would help me out a bunch.
We don't want to see Murphy or we don't want to see Charlie Mike go. That's the thing. And the guys in the audiences are saying that right now. We have some ralliers there. We have some rabble rousers in there that are saying, let's support Mark. We can donate at least $1. What would Murphy do? So there's individuals in there saying, our words, his art, perfection, and he's been a guest on this show. So the fans are digging it, man. So I'm pretty sure they can they'll drop a couple chips on that link that you just talked about on the Patreon account. David said, and you made a believer in me. Props, bro. So you're getting it, man. I just think you need. We got more. You want to throw some more Tiger Blood and Adonis DNA out there? We can. It's gonna get retweeted. It's gonna get shared. People are gonna look at it and stuff, and they're gonna be like, "Whoa." Because I think for veterans doing something like this, it's actually really unorthodox. You don't hear too much about you don't hear about the comics and stuff. You don't hear. You see the guys doing the T-shirt companies and the freaking microbreweries and the coffees and the rifles and the WTF Nations, but we rarely hear. The comics, the graphic novel stuff. It's almost like when you you go to Barnes and Noble and you go in through the like the Batman comics or the Walking Dead comics, and you have the seriousness to that type of graphic novel. That's not really saying comics, but it's more like a graphic novel.
Right.
We don't have that in the veteran community. That's a niche thing for you, man. That's all you. So, we really appreciate you knocking this out. So, how many stories you said you have right now altogether so far?
Altogether, so I've only got 10 completed. You're talking about like actually illustrated up on, ready to go up on the site?
Yeah. Like for instance, how many stories do you have in the queue, and how many stories have you posted so far?
Yeah, so I think I've posted 10. I've got 2 in the queue, and I'm working on 2 more right now. But I'll be working on. Like I said, I have enough material for years. So I'll be working on this, trying to crank. If I can get one done in less than a week, I'll start. I want to put them out as fast as I can, but at the same time, knowing how long it takes to get one done, I don't want to, put everything out there and then have a lull of like 3 weeks before I get another cartoon out. So I keep a couple in the queue so I can just keep it consistent.
Right. You got everybody. Everyone's dropping the link. The link's not posted right now. Real quick, if you go to the post that's right now listed on all the chats, if you go to the pinned comment, it's on there. Also, if you go into the post itself, you'll see the Charlie Mike comics highlighted in the post right now. So his Facebook page is in the post and tagged, so you'll be able to jump on there and check it out. And we'll also drop the other links in there too later. Once the show posts, man, I'll drop the links in there too on the post itself. So that way that's posted up for everybody to see for your stuff. That's the least we can do, man.
Well, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. So you got any parting words? You got anything you want to say about your comics?
I think I've put it all out there. Oh, I do have one question. So this will be up on your site, right? So that I can go back and listen to it and probably cringe horrifically over, things that I said. So,
so everything stated by Mark, Mark Baker is purely the opinion of WTF Nation Radio and not Mark Baker. There you go. See, we'll take responsibility for what you said, man.
Okay. No, I mean, that's it. I mean, I appreciate you. That was a great interview. You helped me think of things that I didn't even think that I needed to bring up. But hey, this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, dude, this is awesome. You're more than welcome to come back, shoot the shit, and give us an update on what's going on with Charlie Mike, man.
I think that would be great if you'll have me. Absolutely.
Yeah, of course. We're gonna take a break right quick. Everybody, thank Mark Baker for coming on. Thanks again, Mark, for coming on. And if you can hang on the line,
thank you, guys.
Spanky will get you some information from you. So stand by. Real quick, we're gonna take a break. We'll see you in a second. Shots.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
please enjoy the show. Shots.
Right here, right now. I'm better without you. You're always on my mind. But right here, right now. I'm better without you. I've had this for some time. But right now, I know that I'm better on my own. Right here, right
looking up and fading out. Cirrus shapes I found blow me away. Van Allen right around, pushing through. Skin is brown. Nature has us trapped in fear, so I get lost in sound. I wonder if you'll ever know why I am the way I am. I've been thinking a lot about time and space surrounding. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? I've been thinking a lot about life and it's never ending. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? Constellation theme, mapping stars they're meant to be. Geminis are free of suicidal kings. This misty maze of me, so obvious yet never seen. Feeling though the fog will lift to find me lost at sea. I've been thinking a lot about time and space surrounding. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? I've been thinking a lot about life and it's never ending. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? Myself and I am so lost in beautiful, far away from life. But I want your visceral feeling to be mine. Oh, I just don't get it. When will your heart beat with my mind? Oh, I've been thinking a lot. I've been thinking a lot about time and space surrounding. Is there anyone who is thinking like me? I've been thinking a lot about life and it's never ending. Is there anyone who is thinking like me?
Hey, Private Smedlap, what do you think about this?
You have to go to the White House to find out about that.
What is this Facebook Live? I've never heard of this shit.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
Shots, and we're back. Part 3 of the Monday edition with Ice and Radar hanging out with me while Flash is on mission. And, of course, it's his turn to shadow me on his internship. So far, so good. He's not set anything on fire. He's not pushing the wrong button. So, Radar, you're doing good, man. Appreciate you, not setting things on fire well. And handling the guests, too. Good job, man. Pat on the back. Here's a...
well, thanks. I'm trying.
Here's an Impact Certificate of Achievement. I don't do coins. Sorry, man. I'm a real Sergeant Major. I'm not those freaking CSMs and shit. I'm not those...
I was really...
Was that?
Are you gonna put me in for a badge of action?
Yeah, Expert Action Badge. That's right. Expert Action Badge. So yeah, that was Mark. Wow, I did not know that Mark Yeager was so busy. God, he's a busy dude. So make sure you guys kick in the chips. Patreon account. We have it up linked on and posted on the. I edited the main page post so that way you guys can check it out and drop it in there as well. And also it's going to be posted on all the sites, and it's going to be posted onto the podcast on WTFNationRadio.com. So make sure you kick it in. Also, don't forget, WTF Nation is the same thing. And believe it or not, no one is getting paid a mad dollar for this. Surprisingly enough, U.S. Army WTF Moments and WTF Nation Radio, all of it's done, all the work, anything it takes to do whatever we got to do to support the WTF Nation is not. None of us making money. Either all of us have jobs, or some of us are doing Army stuff, and some of us are doing whatever. But nobody here is making mad dara off WTF Nation Radio. There's no. I'm not seeing any. What was it? Somebody was talking about hookers and blow earlier. Nobody's making cash. We're not even making snacks. That sucks. I'm not saying it sucks. We do this for you guys. So like I said before, if you go to WTF Nation Radio, you'll see a donate button in the bottom right corner of the WTFNationRadio.com page. Kicking some cash. That's what keeps WTF Nation Radio running with server equipment and all this other stuff. That all of it's done by you guys. You guys are the shareholders. All of you guys that listen to WTFNationRadio.com, all of you are shareholders of this institution. So you are our credentials. Anything that you've seen or heard or whatever, it's because it's been asked, hey, we want this, we want that, or we like to have better this, we like to have better. It has all been done by you. The way the movement that WTF Nation Radio has evolved to now has all been by you, the listener. We've taken your feedback and dealt with some stuff, and that's it. That's there you go. But we can't do this without your help. So in order for you guys to keep WTF Nation Radio going, you guys go to WTFNationRadio.com, look at the bottom right corner where it says donate, kick in a PayPal, and that's it. Too easy. I kick in money sometimes. Just the way it is. So that's what we're all for. I mean, I know you guys don't like to hear my voice, fucking pontificating all throughout, and hearing Radar, cutting me off all the time, because I can totally tell Radar you're totally ecstatic to be here right now.
Oh, I am. I'm letting you go. You're on it. I'm not gonna stop that.
No, come on, dude. You wait for the natural pause. Oh, Smeg will tell you if you don't get your in, I'll roll. I'll keep going.
This is a fact. I could sit here and be quiet like the entire Thursday show, and I'll just sit here and do front desk things behind the scenes like I'm doing right now, posting links and doing my thing. It's my job to front desk tonight.
You weren't supposed to agree.
I'm actually afraid of Bailey is more what it is. I don't want her. She so much enjoys your presence, and I don't want to overshadow that.
Oh, really? Oh, that's what she said in the chats? No, really? She's. We have many of the fans that we have regulars that like to listen to us. I like it. That's awesome. So anyways, let's go back. So again, don't forget, Patreon for Mark, and then WTFNationRadio.com. Bottom right corner, you'll see the donate tab. Kick in the chips for the PayPal to keep the WTF Nation Radio going. Because the last thing you guys want to hear is about WTF Nation Radio going broke. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I posted a link for that in the chat too. It's scrolled by because we do have Mark's pinned.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yes. I am now a Patreon supporter of his. Kicking in $2 a month.
Oh, too easy. That's what I'm talking about.
I figure I can give up one snack cake a month for Private Murphy and Charlie Mike Comics.
Yep.
One of the comments in the chat was, $5. That's not even a 6-pack of beer. That's not a whole lot to help someone out to keep all of us entertained.
Right. Depending on what kind of beer you're talking about. If you're talking about Tecate, then forget it. You're not even, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess it's probably it's a 6 or a PBR or something, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Or what's the worst beer that you could drink? What's the?
Do they still have Camo, the Camo 40s and Camo Light or whatever at the PX.
Really? You know, I don't know. Do they have them? I have not. Me and Spanky are the connoisseur of said delectable, but a six pack bottle of Tecate costs $12. So you can imagine how much a case is. That's like top shelf beer, man. You know, Mark is all worth the double case of Tecate. Just the way it is, man. But anywho, okay, let's go back to this conversation we were having earlier before we had our guest come on about the legalization of marijuana and decriminalizing prostitution, because we were talking about how Kamala Harris, because this is something that I wanted to keep talking about, because there's some things going on that we discussed this before about the use of recreational medicinal marijuana. You could just imagine the surprise and jaws dropping when in the office and stuff when I'm at work to hear some of my uniformed colleagues hear me say that I support both. They freak the hell out. I expect you to. Immediately they think that it's one of those, oh, well, then you're a stoner, you're stupid, blah. You know, I think there's something to say about the fact of legalizing marijuana. When you have, when you have Martha Stewart, when you have the former Speaker of the House, John Boehner, when you have Philip Morris, all investing in marijuana, and they are all investing in medicinal marijuana and the legalization and lobbying for cannabis, because they're already starting to be. See, that's the thing. They're getting the in on us. It already sucks that Congress doesn't do what it's supposed to do when it comes to governing this country. And they're like, we are the freaking shareholders of Congress, I guess you'd say. So the state of California decided to say, hey, you know what? We freaking legalized a bunch of laws. So if all of this stuff is legal now, it's time to clean house. So more than 9,300 marijuana-related convictions will be expunged just in San Francisco alone, in the other counties. Let me say that again. 9,300 marijuana-related convictions will be expunged, dating back decades, like way the fuck back. So you'll no longer have a record. There's also other counties in California, in LA, they're creating, they're thinking about, you know what, this is why exactly that. LA County, the district attorney's office estimates there are more than 40,000 convictions, felony involving pot-related offenses since 1993. So, what's the issue? If now all the states are doing this, then what the hell? I honestly think that it's a good thing. That's when I switched to crack.
I just can't see any drawbacks to it. I really can't, because it, especially on the edge for law enforcement, it frees them up to solve real crimes. You know, it frees them up to get the drunks off the highway, to do everything that you know they're supposed to be doing, instead of worrying about if grandma's got a dime bag in her purse to help with her cardiac problems or whatever, her Cadillac problems too, whatever. Old people have Cadillacs. But I mean, we focus on all this weird, almost unimportant shit in life, and you know, we made marijuana and all this, and the only problem I have with the feds actually doing it is I think the federal government should keep their hands out of it, and it should just be open for the states, because there are certain states who are more in tune with it than others, and that kind of falls to me under the 10th Amendment stuff. So, but that's my taxation as theft side coming out.
No, that's a good point. No, I mean, well, you're right though, but they're and honestly, in this, nobody wants to admit that D. Treasy had something to do with prison reform. On the amount of laws, it's like over punishing something that's so small, but under punishing for stuff that will be considered more, we're bad off. You know what I mean? You know, sexual assault, domestic violence, and shit like that are actually more, are more lenient than actual marijuana laws. In all states. Oh my God, in Texas it's worse. I know several states' audience members have told me just unreal how individuals have gotten away with domestic violence. Some states even have tattletale laws where you just say, "Hey, somebody hit me," and the cops will go arrest them. And then the case gets dropped because not enough evidence or whatever. But somebody is suspected of having a dime bag or a pipe or just suspected, and immediately 10 years. And of course, there are some individuals that are upset about this. And this is kind of the thing. No, I don't want anybody on the blue side of the house to get upset when I say this. Because WTF Nation Radio also supports the blue. However, there are some law enforcement groups that are kind of leery about it. They're like, well, they're not looking at the surrounding factors on what happened with this. It's kind of a little bit reckless to decide it. And that's what a spokesman from the California Narcotics Officers Association said, that it's a bad idea to do this. It works to one thing. What is your primary charge when you're busted with weed? And sometimes states will stack that charge to something else. So if that charge was stacked on, say, for instance, assault and battery, you got in a fight or something like that, or you were disorderly conduct, okay, then drop the weed charge. Too simple. Or if it was connected to the weed charge and weed's no longer legal, I mean, it's almost like going back in time when you think about it. Stepping off the trail, not stepping on the butterfly, irrevocably change time in the future type shit. You know what I mean? Well, you don't understand the circumstances of why he got busted with that weed. Well, yeah, but you know what? Because we went back in time and expunged it, technically, he wasn't disorderly conduct because of weed, right? It's kind of flipping around him. I mean, we could lawyer the fuck out of this shit.
Well, and I wonder if that's something they're trying to avoid, is having to go back and look through all those convictions, because it's not just going to be overturn everything. Like you said, they've got, driving under the influence, and they've got assault or possession of a firearm while committing a felony, and all these other charges that they all wrap in together. And all of a sudden now you have to go back and go through each case by case and say, okay, who still needs to be in prison and who doesn't.
But think about this. I have never heard of somebody smoking weed and losing their shit, beating up a bunch of cops, and then barricading themselves in the fucking house, unless they were on PCP or something, right? You never hear about weed users doing that. You never hear about people who smoke weed, freaking, resisting arrest. They're laughing their asses off when they're fucking high, getting arrested. They're kind of like, are you trying to bust me? You know what I mean? But a drunk driver, or somebody who's hopped up on fucking meth or coke, you know the difference. It's almost like weed's supposed to have a different effect on you. So if I get busted for disorderly conduct, and like I said, it was and I had been under the influence of weed, well, weed is legal, right? So if you added that charge on there, that it basically null and voids the other charge. If you want to get rid of this, there's
right.
You know what I mean? There's the proposition in California is called Prop 64. Which was passed by voters in 2016. These are the ones that now the individuals can request expunge it themselves, and then there's some that have did not do it because they didn't want to get busted. They didn't want to put themselves on the radar in case of violating probation or something like that.
Right.
But like you were talking about the taxation, taxation without representation, taxation is theft. You got a breathing tax, right? You got a breathing tax because you have a house and you breathe in it, and they tax you for a property that you supposedly brought. We could go back and forth on the tax thing. There are some states that charge you tax when you purchase a vehicle, and then every time you register it, charge you property tax of having the vehicle after you paid taxes for buying the vehicle. To me, that adds to poverty. To me, that adds the issue. A simple registration fee of $50 or $100, but no one should have to bust their ass to work hard for their family, and they're scraping by, and then the next thing you know, they have to pay a $50 registration, and then the next thing you know, they got to pay $250 or $300 additional on top of their car payment, house payment, utilities, and all that, just to pay the property tax for that vehicle that they paid taxes for when they bought it.
Well, and when it comes to that, I in South Dakota, we don't have a state income tax. We don't. Nothing's taken out for state taxes, none of that stuff. we paid other ways. My vehicle registration just came up, and we have 3 vehicles on it: a motorcycle, a camper, and my 4-wheeler. And my registration is going to be almost $900 for the year.
Right. Now,
and that's after you pay the sales. This is 6% sales tax when you buy the vehicle, and then they, what's it, like 94 cents a gallon of gas goes to taxes.
Correct. See, now you're not exactly. Now we're talking exactly what we're talking about.
So that's when it really piles up, and that after they take everything else out, you're lucky to get 40% of your paycheck now after you pay everything else. It's getting kind of ridiculous when it comes to that stuff.
I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty sure that anybody right now would be bullshitting to you saying that that's wrong. That it's not. I mean, it's like we are incorrect. That shakes my head on something as simple as that. The state government will do that. So this is what pisses me off when people say states' rights and what the Fed should be involved with and all that. It's all up to the individual states of this and this. Already on top of, like you said, the taxes you bought for paying for the vehicle and all that. I think it's a crock of shit. So going back to the California Narcotics Association, it said this dude was, his name is, what was his name? Let me look on the Googleizer. George Gascon. His name is George Gascon. He likes to bark at Gascon. He likes to take them from people. Gascon. Anyways, sorry, I got kids. If you don't know, Beauty and the Beast, Lion King, you're not a dad if you're not singing those songs with your kids. Sorry. So he was saying that to simply to do this is kind of ridiculous, and we would have to review every marijuana related conviction to find out that's eligible, and it's going to take time to clear and all that, and basically what you understand is we have to go through all these statistics and all this and this. So, not realizing that this guy is talking about the Silicon Valley, these coders came up and said, "Oh, we got this. No, we got this. As a matter of fact, not only do we got this, but we're going to go through and create an algorithm through San Francisco's digitized criminal records going back to 1975, and in minutes, we're able to pull out 9,362 cases that were eligible to be expunged. But because of the lobbying, this is what pisses me off about lobbying in our politics. Again, I love the blue. We support the blue at WTF Nation Radio. But here's where we kind of say, hey, look, I understand there are laws in California that say you cannot do this, but now that it's open, now it's legalized, now it's time to stop bullshitting around. Oh, well, you just can't pull up all that stuff. You did it. You're challenging a bunch of coders in Silicon Valley that work for Google, work for Apple or Facebook or all. You're challenging these guys. And they were able to go, think about this. They digitized the criminal records going back to 1975, and these kids were able to go in and find out 9,000 records that were eligible, over 9,000 records, automatically to be eligible to expunged. Why can't that happen now?
Well, and these kids, they can turn around and they can, on my phone, if I say I need to go buy drywall screws or something, 10 minutes later I get an ad on Facebook to buy drywall screws. So I feel like they should be able to go through the records and see who has a marijuana conviction. They've got some pretty handy hands dealing with that stuff, that technology stuff that I barely can turn my computer on. I think it's just, it goes back to those, I'm going to say more elderly people that are running for Congress and state Senate and state House and all that don't quite understand how advanced technology is becoming.
Right. They basically, they don't. They're basically, it's like isn't it seem like to me they're kind of like the younger generation's kind of revealing the bullshit of what politics is all about to begin with. Like they're lifting the curtain up. Like I said, the Association of Narcotics Officers in California are saying, no, we got to go through all these records. No, you don't. We can do it quick. They said they did it in minutes. As a matter of fact, they're also talking about turning it over to the courts already. That's insane. Could you imagine just doing that right now?
Have they not? I guess I don't understand the pushback on it, though. I mean, if they've got all this information at the tip of their fingers and say, hey, we've got this, here's your 17,000 cases or whatever it is.
Yeah, it was
that
9,300 cases that could be expunged immediately. Raider, you got to think about it, man. Think about this. And you know, Pookie and Mulder talked about this too. Think about all the resources that have been developed and built to combat the, quote, war on drugs, unquote. Think about it. Think about it right now. Think about all the agencies, task force, vehicles, equipment, money has been associated to preventing, policing, arresting, convicting, protecting. You know what I mean? I'm talking about protecting, about like just normal, public defender type stuff. Now all of a sudden you are able to go. You are talking to an entity that lobbies. It's an association, dude. It's not like we're talking about an actual bona fide certified governing factor. It's an association. It's like a lobby group that is basically saying, oh, well, you don't understand what's going on, and we don't know any cases that could be do this. It's going to take some time to do it, and a couple of geekoids run in there and fucking do it in minutes. I honestly think I think sometimes the government, when it comes to something like that, God, this sounds like tinfoil times, that they really don't want you to know the true processes of what's going on, and it's almost like a fucking sham.
No, for sure. And I really believe that. It is a sham. But they're not... We take too much stock in what these lobby groups say. Because the only people that are really benefiting from this, from at least the marijuana aspect of it, are big pharma and then privatized prisons. And some people say police groups, some people don't, the unions and whatnot. But I wholeheartedly believe that we don't need to reduce the number of police forces just because we end the war on drugs, because there's so much other crime and actual problems that are happening that the police forces can focus on. You know, there's unsolved rapes, unsolved murders, unsolved accidents, unsolved thefts that keep going and going and going because the police have to raid this house to, the SWAT team's got to go in and get 40 pot plants from this kid's basement or whatever. The drug task force we'll take those drug task force guys and make them the murder task force or whatever. Get them there's plenty of work for the police departments in most areas to do that doesn't require, busting marijuana kids, busting the kid who's got, half an ounce in his locker. Well, not say locker at school. Don't have that kid. Bust that kid. But, you've got these kids who, they face some big problems for the rest of their lives because they got busted when they were 22 years old with, a joint on them. And that's what really sucks.
And it's carried on over, and it's given a label to the individuals that had it busted. How many? Oh my God, man! If I were to hold, I'm so glad social media didn't exist when I was, fucking between the ages of 16 and 20. So glad social media didn't exist. Fuck, I've been branded for life for some of the craziest shit I did. I'm not gonna say it on air either. Fuck that. I plead the fifth. There's only one Constitution amendment to the Constitution. There can only be one. The fifth. I plead the fifth. Nope. Sometimes just things are stayed in history in the past, and it's the past. You're not going to see me in a yearbook looking like fucking a Klansman.
Right. But hey, I mean, if you did that, you might be able to run for governor or something.
Yeah, stay in there. Did you hear about his old lady, what she did at the tour of the fucking governor's residence? She handed out cotton to all the fucking black kids and said, oh, look at Wow. I didn't think it was so fancy. What are you talking about? Oh God. So going back. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I really wish Flash was here to continue on with that. And I can't believe they haven't said, hey, y'all just pack your shit and leave. We're going to find somebody else to be governor. Anybody else. Not the wife beater, not the racist. Let's just find a normal person to come in here and be governor for a couple months until we can have another election. But that's Flash's deal. I'm not a Virginian. I've been to Virginia like 3 times in my entire life, and I'm not going to get into their state politics because that's way above my pay grade.
Right. Well, not to mention the fact that that if Flash was here, I'd have to set up some rant music, and then wind him up and then just let him go. He does listen to us while he's on mission or when he's TDY or he's doing some stuff, doing his work. I shouldn't say TDY, but when he's not doing stuff, he he does listen to us, and I just can't imagine him just like clenching his fist right now, hearing you talking about Virginia.
That's why I had to back off. I didn't want to steal his thunder. That's his gig.
Oh my God, that's awesome. So going back, what I was saying is that everyone who's talking about the Lost Passage already, and the fact that the expungements dating back all the way to 75, everyone's saying that is a cash cow of information that it seems like government officials want to hold back because they're worried about it's going to be whatever. So if this happens, then of these expungements, they're talking about clearing up to 250,000 convictions by the end of this year. Dude. It even created a thing called Clear My Record, an online application that connects people with their lawyers to clear criminal records across California. I gotta check it out. This is awesome. How could you not want to help somebody out? You gotta think about a conviction like that, like you were saying, though. It could be one of those big deals, Radar, like you said, that could be holding you from a job because you got convicted of something way back in the day. When you look back, like you're like a 35-year-old man, 40-year-old man, and you're like changing jobs or something like that. You want to apply for better work, and all of a sudden they do a background check, and all of a sudden they find out that back in 1976, you got busted for fucking holding a joint at a young age, and you got sent to juvie or something. You know what I mean? Something crazy like that. They're gonna hold that. Do we think that specific crime or crime at the time should be held over somebody's head for such a long time?
Well, I think there's people out there who genuinely believe that. There's the the Jeff Sessions of the world who think that you will literally burn in hell for the rest of your life if you walk by someone that smells of marijuana. But I think that's kind of up to the employer as well, though. I mean, I see that that progressing, at least in more, I'm going to say, modern states than like where I'm at. Hell, CBD oil is illegal where I'm at. It's a felony. Marijuana brownies, or if you have any sort of synthesized marijuana, the oils or whatever, that's a felony. It doesn't matter what it is. You could have one of those little, reefer bars or whatever they're called, and it's a no joke felony, same as having crack or meth. They're really bad about it here. Hell, our governor's trying to push back against legal or industrialized hemp. In the farm bill that she helped pass, they're trying to, get it to where a mainly agrarian state like South Dakota, the farmers can grow hemp. And now she's flipping out and, no, we can't vote on that. We can't have hemp. They won't know if it's marijuana or hemp. And what are we going to do? And, oh, they're going to listen to jazz music. And no, just listen. We can figure this out. But I'm starting to rant now, but,
Send it. Go for it. Go for it.
And I guess I remember, in the 90s when I went into the military, and they were like, hey, we don't really care if you smoked weed when you were in high school, but you can't do it now. And, just let us know so we don't find anything on your record when we do your security clearance. If you got arrested, tell us and just pass your test now, you're good to go. And I guess, that was the attitude in, the late 90s. I don't know what it is now. I haven't been to a recruiter's office in a long time. But if something as strict as the military is in that kind of attitude, I don't understand why Kohl's or Jack in the Box or whatever entry level position you're applying for wouldn't be like, okay, well, don't smoke weed here. But then you get into the more, I'm a truck driver. I have a CDL. I have to pass my drug test whenever they have my random test. So even if it was legal per federal law, I have to pass with flying colors. So it's not even an option for someone like me. That's not saying that I'm pro-choice. And that's not an abortion thing. I'm pro a choice on a lot of stuff.
On the weed thing, right?
On the weed thing, on a lot of stuff. If you want to, as long as you're not hurting someone else, you do you, boo-boo. Have a good day. Enjoy your life. And I feel like in the instance of marijuana, especially when there is medical stuff especially when it comes to depression and when it comes to cancer treatments and when it comes to all the other great things that they're trying to do without being able to fund it legally, to experiment with it, and everything else that's involved in it. And the government is purposely tying the hands of these individuals and of these groups that are trying to legitimize it. That to me is almost a crime on their end. And instead we're punishing mainly poor people, and people of color are the ones that proportionally get arrested and charged and convicted with marijuana related incidents. And that to me, I'm not, trying to play the race card. I'm not trying to play I got white privilege so I can smoke. No, none of that crap. But when it comes down to it, there are certain groups who are marginalized in this, and there's so many, it's wrong on so many levels. And the easy way out is to say, we're done. We will no longer have any part to play in marijuana. States, use your 10th Amendment rights. If you want to have it, good on you. If you don't, that's cool too. But we as a federal government, we're hands off with it. And I think that would make life easier for almost everybody involved.
That's pretty. That's Hashtag radar rant. No, that's a good point. And you're not. You think about that too. That the majority and of course, this is the statistic that pulled up during to talk about this expungement as well is that we're just talking about San Francisco specifically, is that 5% black, 13% so the way we're talking about this thing is that they're talking about disproportionate number of convictions hanging over the heads of the black and Latino community. And so San Francisco is about 5% black. That community saw a third of all marijuana-related convictions. Latinos made up the 15% of the city, but 27 of marijuana convictions. And so what they're trying to do is like, oh, we're not trying to, we're not trying to do this thing here, but we're not trying to mix words. But you're right. It actually, I doesn't really think that has to be a different color. I just think it just has to be like a class of. Not really a class, because I know individuals that partake in the devil's lettuce that are fucking smart as hell, that hold down jobs, that work in places that you would not even expect. Because you hear stoner or you hear somebody smoking weed, you think of Cheech and Chong, right? Hey man, what's going on, man? You think about that. You think, hey man, you want to go stoke it up? You don't think about a doctor. You don't think about a pilot. You don't think about somebody who does, you don't think about the individuals about that. So, well, my biggest thing is that when the veteran community is going to be affected, and this is what the dynamic is. I think personally, Big Pharma is going to get involved with the veteran community on the way the VA handles this medicinal marijuana stuff, and then it's going to like trap the veterans in this, because they're already talking about use of medicinal marijuana or behavioral health issues. Automatically are going to be if you're seeking medicinal marijuana for PTSD, it's automatically they're talking about taking your weapons. The one thing they tell you not to fucking hold back on, not to hide, they're now saying we're going to take your guns. Now, that depends. I mean, we had our discussions before, some heated discussions on the Monday edition about the Second Amendment and how it applies. We even had guests coming on that were both, Second Amendment, and some of them were wanting common sense gun legislation. I'll be honest with you. I would be leery too if I wanted to go talk to somebody that's going to be held against me just because I went to go talk to somebody.
Well, and to me the weapons thing is a non-issue. But I'm saying if it not is a non-issue, that should be a non-issue to the care provider and to the government, especially because, like you said, very few people who go, smoke a bowl, then go pick up a rifle and go shoot up a school. Or it's usually the people who are on the other narcotics that are given to them by mental health professionals. And I don't even know the names of them, but almost all of those mass shooters, quote unquote, have been linked to antidepressants and all that. So to me, maybe we should not harass the weed smokers and look more into that aspect of the mental health profession. but that's a whole another radar rant, and I don't know if we have time for that one.
No, I hear you. No, but you're right.
But
you're right. I mean, you look at the type of, because they say that if you're a veteran and you need help, you need to go ahead and dial this 1-800 you need a help line, and we will make sure that we're talking and you can get the help you need. Well, now think about it. There's when it comes to the psychiatric world terrifies the crap out of me, because things that would have been considered whatever, yeah, you just need to let it out, you just need to talk about, maybe different to where you might need to be given some sort of psychotropic medication. That's what has people shooting up fucking places. Not weed. You're right, not weed. So now you're going to have a veteran who's going to be worried about seeking help. Like I said, it could just be talking. Now, I'm not a licensed professional. Straight up, I'll tell you that right now. You want to you want to vent and talk about, and I'll give you some of my advice on what I've done in my life or the choices that I made or not made. I'm going to tell you, right? If you ask for it, I'm going to give you some, what I feel you need to do, only because, that's kind of like that age thing. Guys, when, the deal when you get old and you're pushing 50 and shit, you kind of get like that fatherly type crap, or the old, the cool old uncle giving you some advice, right? But I'm not going to be able to start getting into complex situations and issues with somebody who needs psychiatric, that needs to talk to somebody. I'm just going to say, hey, you need to call somebody up, man, and see what they can do. Then you go into now you're hearing in the news, because, Facebook records everything you say, and everybody records what you say. Now you're seeing in the news that you're going to have, if you seek something for PTSD, what is considered PTSD? What is classified under PTSD? Is it seeking help to talk to somebody? Is that going to classify you? Do you really need help? Is that going to classify you? If you're issued medication, is that going to classify you? Those two classes that I just discussed, I see that, but not the first one. If I need to talk to Dr. Radar, who is a licensed professional, I need to just talk, man. I just need to talk because I just need to fucking vent some shit. Well, what you want to talk about? Blah, 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 blah. Did you get it out of your system, Ice? Roger that, Dr. Radar. I'm good to go. All right, cool. Now, is it doctor-patient confidentiality? At that point, do you say, all right, Ice is he's good to go. He came to talk to me, blah, 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 blah. No need to see him. Does that count? Because I could see Pookie said this. Pookie even said this. Jay Reddy said, everyone, we've all said this. I see a slippery slope going down that route.
No, it's a very slippery slope. And we as veterans have kind of, especially the older guys, I very, very vividly remember the days of the suck it up, drive on, don't worry about it, you'll be fine. And I kind of watched that progress towards the end of my career to, hey, if you need help, go get help. So we're finally starting to make some grounds in that aspect for the vets, for the guys who are still on active duty, who are just getting out on that aspect. Hey, if you need help, we want to get you help. Call these people, they can help you. But now we're throwing in another thing where, hey, get some help, but be ready to turn your guns in. And a lot of guys aren't ready to give up a constitutional right, or a right that's protected by the Constitution, because there's a difference, but they're not ready to give that up just to go talk to somebody that may or may not help them. They don't know until they go, but they're afraid to go. They broke the command problem. They broke the kind of stigma of it, but now they want to go, but they don't want to lose their guns, or they don't want to lose whatever. And now with these other laws that are coming in with the red flag laws and whatever,
right?
Who's to say that doesn't fall under that auspice in certain states, or at any point, to say, well, hey, Radar's got guns and he went to talk to this doctor, and I think that he's going to be a menace. It may not even be the doctor having to report it. It might just be the neighbor, the friend, the concerned crackpot down the road, whatever it is. So it all kind of ties into each other. And then all of a sudden you've got, you don't want to do, you don't want medical marijuana because someone might take your guns away. You don't want to talk to the doctor because someone might take your guns away. So in order to protect rights that are protected by the Constitution, you don't want to step out of line.
Right, because there's going to be some individuals that are misconstrue it. Now, that's what I'm talking about. This goes right back to the initial portion of the expungement. Is I've seen Leos in action, and there are some Leos out there that are busting their ass out there, fucking trying to do right by their community. And there are some that really, really need to take a fucking chill pill when it comes to arresting somebody. They will even say that too. We've had Leos come on as guests before, and they have said the same thing too. We got the guys out there that just like really fucking, come on, dude. Really, do you want to be a dick about it? They want to talk about it, of course, but this is one of those things to where a lot of the stuff really, I think, has been overreacted just by A, been a resident of that state, B, experienced Leos on that side of the house, and C, watching like you said, the slippery slope. Well, he went to go seek help. No, dude. See, that's the thing. You have then you sound fucking crazy trying to explain you not being crazy. That's the slippery slope. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're just like, no, I'm not crazy. I'm just not. Well, what did the doctor say? Well, that's between me and the doctor. Oh, so you do have something. That's how they question you. Always lawyer up. Have to speak to a lawyer. Biff. I reserve my right to remain silent.
We should play that clip of those lawyers on Facebook. The one guy just sitting there smoking weed, and the other guy just like, shut the fuck up. Right. Whenever you talk to a guy, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I can get you off if you shut the fuck up. And that's
right.
100%.
Right. Because I'll be honest with you, the days, it's almost like the days of the horse-drawn wagons are over. You were talking about that hemp bill. Dude, the ropes that used to tie and moor our ships on Pearl Harbor, they were made of hemp. There was an industry of hemp that was used to build our World War II. Some of the equipment that we had made of hemp. Silk for the chutes, hemp for the straps.
Well, and you look too. Almost every founding father who was a farmer grew hemp. George Washington grew hemp. Thomas Jefferson grew hemp. And, it was a very, very common crop at the time of the American Revolution. I think that that's lost to history to some people that and even just the difference between hemp and marijuana is just obviously to some people that doesn't process. It's almost like they're interchangeable and they're two completely different animals. Well, plants, technically, but.
Scientists told me it is a change in the molecular buildup of the plant to make it to where it is, what's the difference between that? Like hemp and weed look the same. You know what I mean? As far as its physical appearance. But I'm just blown away. Blown away at the fact that's why individuals get the ass and not want to talk about, so you don't want to participate in it. You don't want to participate in this stuff like that because now you're being that vet. No, think about what you're telling me to do. You wanted me to go seek help. It's for the veterans. Seek help. Give me a call, and I will document your information down. And by federal law, I will give it to the authorities that you sought help. Like you said, radar, bam, red flag. For just me talking to somebody. I kind of get, when you get to the point where someone's that needs help, that has to be taken, that has to take psychotropic medication. Hey, I'm sorry, man. I'm kind of like on the waffling of the, a lot of people disagree with me on this. I don't know, man. I don't want, it's that medication shit. It's that medication shit. I honestly think that the use of medicinal marijuana will alleviate a ton of that stuff. But again, that's just me. That's just my opinion. But at any rate, yeah. See, everyone's talking about Murphy still. I remember Murphy from Iraq, right? God, man. So real quick, today we had Mark Baker from Charlie Mike Comics. Mark Baker is a retired Army Master Sergeant, and his Private Murphy cartoons ran from the Army Times 8 years starting in 2000, and then a 10-year hiatus. He's back doing the Murphy cartoons, and he's also doing his Charlie Mike's Comics. You heard him ask for help. You saw his Patreon account. You saw his Patreon link. You saw his He does not mind having someone help him out. Wow, I never heard that before. So if you're really good at graphic artists on a digital scale and can assist this fine NCO, like I said, before the main page, there was Private Murphy. And if you've not looked at some of the cartoons and stuff that I've already posted, or if you've not gone to Private Murphy's Law, or not purchased, you can go in some of the military. He still has some of his books for sale in some of the military clothing sales areas. So there's still some out there. I got those copies when they first came out. Private Murphy. I tell you what, being a knobby-headed private myself, and then going through the ranks and going through jump school, and doing the paratrooper life, and then going away from the paratrooper life, and then just seeing all that stuff, it is hilarious. I could it was like Spanky said too, it was relatable. And then
no, it really was. I'm sorry, I'm just a huge fan.
I know.
And like seriously, $1 a month, like for real, like if you can't. Okay, no, I don't want to say that, because there really are people that can't afford $1 a month.
No, I mean, if you can, you can. If you can't, you can't. It's one of
Right.
those things is that
So I don't want to say it like that, but seriously, if you can afford $1 a month, because trust me when I say you cannot live off of an Army retirement, and he wants to do this for a living, and that's what he's trying to do. That's it. So if you can afford to throw $1 a month his way, so he can afford this, and hey, he'll, hopefully be able to afford to not do a Patreon and make a living off of it. But fuck you, Army Times. I said it.
I know, dude. Could you imagine they were going to give him $125 a comic? He'd been cranking out comics every couple of days. You know what I mean? And they just blew him off. What's up with that?
Right. But even let's look at it this way. Like even at $125 a comic, the Army Times only comes out once a week. That's a meager living, and that would be enough to, with his Army retirement. It's not like, hey, I'm looking to get rich. He's just looking to make a living off of doing something he loves, that we all love. And hey, I'm a big fan. Have been. I was Private Murphy. I turned into the one that Private Murphy was like, I have to breathe in and say, Private.
Right.
Been on both sides of this comic.
Right.
So.
Oh my! Or his interactions with his first sergeant. His first sergeant screaming all that. I've been the Private Murphy getting screamed at by the first sergeant, and I've been the first sergeant screaming at a Private Murphy. So how could you?
It's a huge deal for me. Like I said, this is part of my Army life.
It is.
And if it only, I even did the Premier One. I'm giving them $3 a month. Like, literally, that's like me not buying 2 Diet Cokes a month. So that's just me, and it's a big deal to me personally.
Okay, so so I'm telling you right now, this is a mission from Spanky, which is it's like the mission from above. You better.
And I do this a lot for nonprofits. I donate a lot, but this is, and I know it's not a nonprofit, but it is, like I said, it's a big deal to me.
Right.
So give them $1 a month.
Right. Okay. So if you guys not paid attention to what's going on the Army Combat Fitness Test, you will. If you've not read the post on the main page that was posted this morning at 9 o'clock, I think it's already pinned at the top still. We're gonna have somebody that's from TRADOC to talk about the ACFT. Master Sergeant Shelley Horner. So, just like General Donahoe, just like all other mill guests that have come on here, we're going to ask questions that you guys want to know. And she is the Tactical Strength and Conditioning Facilitator and Certified Personal Trainer through the National Strength and Conditioning Association, and a licensed massage therapist, and is going to be discussing the ACFT. She is a facilitator of the ACFT, which is going to be it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be awesome. So hopefully, with all the news going around about the ACFT, she comes on. So we'll see. She said she's an NCO. She said she's coming on. She's going to come on.
Absolutely.
Probably going to get some serious. She's probably going to get some serious prep though.
No, like I just posted. I'm like, yeah, we have another big guest. No stars, but a few rockers.
Yeah, it's Master Sergeant. So she's going to be joining us for Sergeant's Time for some sergeanting and talk about the ACFT. And you guys can. I mean, I'm serious. If she has questions that she can answer, that's fine. And there's going to be some questions that we're going to ask too. So, I mean, obviously there's going to be some questions that are not going to be of her level. So don't go thinking, why do the ACFTU create it? You know, just actually it should be like, you know, don't start him-hawing about what happened or whatever. We'll, you know, we can get some of the details about that. Or like I said, if she comes on and everything so far is good to go, she's going to be on Sarge's time. So we had a guest coming on to talk about his books, and he was an author and brought up Jim Morris, the guy that we're talking about, and in the community of the special operations world. Jim Morris came and was talking about his 3 Purple Hearts, or 4 Purple Hearts, I think he got. And he was talking about his books on A War Story and Devil's Secret Name, as well as Fighting Man, and a collection of magazine pieces that became the pilot for a 1994 radio series called the Fighting Men series, the Green Berets. And this is the one guy that we were talking about. The guest that came on. God, what was the guest? My brain is fried. Who was the guest we had? Oh my God, I'm bad host, man. Bad host. I'm fly taking on that.
Oh my gosh, you're putting me on the spot because
I'm not.
It was the Hell and Back.
It was to Hell and Back. Yeah. No, hang on. It'll come to me real quick. WCW quick coming out.
Oh my God.
Help! He was the author that joined us last week and to talk about. Was it last week? Yeah, to talk about the shit. It's like at the tip of my tongue.
No, you have me thinking about 2 different authors because we have so many. I apologize to all of our listeners.
No.
We have so many fabulous guests.
No, it was what's his name? It was Mark LeBlanca. That's who it was. Mark. Thank you, Mark LeBlanca. He was the guy that came on and talked about Jim Morris. We talked about Jim Morris and his Special Forces adventures in Vietnam. Well, Jim Morris is coming on the Monday edition next week. So he's going to be talking about his experiences. This will be pretty cool, man. I like how it's almost like we're the event. You know how the Avengers, how they have little spoilers at the end that tie into another movie? We kind of do that at WTF Nation Radio. We have like guests and that come on and talk about somebody and all sorts of stuff. And it's like a sneak peek or an Easter egg to another guest. It's awesome. I'm digging it. So I think that's. Oh yeah, don't forget we got a show every night except for Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Wednesday is our day off. Friday is our down day right now. That show is currently not filled. And then we have Saturday night tinfoil times. That's being Jay Reddy's taking a break. He's taking some leave. And then we have Sunday kicking it with Kaz and Team Old with him and the Owl. And then Monday edition with Flash. Right now it's gonna be Radar as Flash is out doing mission stuff, interning. And then tied up Tuesday with Minx. So, yeah. You guys don't have anything for me? Radar, you did good, man. Thanks for holding fort down.
Thanks, I'm trying.
No, for real, I'm not bullshitting. I'm not being sarcastic. You did pretty good today. No, but again, we have or broadcasted, and you can share and download us on iTunes, the Google Play app, and you'll be able to download it on that. Or you can go into the TuneIn app, and you can check us out there. If you Google WTF Nation Radio, we occupy the first 10 pages of the Google search, so you'll be able to grab it. You're also listening to us on YouTube. You're also listening to us on Mixer, Periscope, so there is no freaking way. We also have a website on WTFNationRadio.com to listen to us there, and you also can listen to us on ArmyWTFMoments.com at the WTF Nation Radio tab. So there really is no excuse for us to not be heard if you want to find us. Easy to find, WTFNationRadio.com. Too easy to find us. We like to post our stuff every, usually we all kind of have like a contest, like an unwritten rule contest of who can post it, immediately after podcast is up. Everyone does it. Usually I think it's like within a half hour, 45 minutes, our podcasts go up. So our team's pretty sharp on that stuff. But again, if you don't got anything, Radar, if you don't got anything, Spanky, I guess we can go ahead and close it out, right? I guess
that's good.
Yeah, sweet dreams and shots.
Yeah, sweet dreams and shots. And thanks, Mark Baker, for coming on again. You're a legend, bro. Shots.
Everything stated on WTF Nation Radio is to be considered the opinion of the person that stated it, and not an official representation of WTF Nation Radio or U.S. Army WTF Moments.
Price does not include tax, title, or license. Some assembly required. Each item sold separately. Batteries not included. Objects in mirror are closer than they appear. If conditions persist, contact a physician. Individual results may vary. Keep out of the reach of children. Avoid prolonged exposure to direct sunlight. Keep in a cool, dark place. And
Please enjoy the show. Shots.
Before glorious President Trump can assume the intergalactic throne, he surveyed the universe and said, let's make all of this our own. He commissioned a group of soldiers to take upon their shoulders a daunting task to relentless field to make conquest of the last frontier. Now here we are enlisted for the glory of our nation. To say that we're the best would be an under-exaggeration. Prepared for combat with an alien race to kick their asses right in the face. Space Force, Space Force, we'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Now they say that they've discovered life up there on Mars, so let's blow it all to hell and then claim it for ours. We'll page the moon, red, white, and blue, for no other reason than we wanted to. Oh, Jupiter, imagine what you could become. A stupid, pointless planet turned into a giant gun. And Russia, so sorry, have to burst your bubble. Be a good sport, now sit back, relax, and watch us through the hubble as we celebrate the greatness of the United Planet of America. Space Force, Space Force, we'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Now we'll go to infinity and beyond, beyond. You'll hear our manly voices singing Space Force strong. Though critics say sound doesn't travel in space, to which we reply sound will do as we say. Oh, Captain Kirk, your achievements, though notable and fine, as far as we're concerned, this is Deep Space Mine. And big fans, but Lord Vader, step away from the lightsaber. There can only be one, of course. Space Force. Ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum, dum, 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 ra-da-da-da-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da, ra-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-dum, dum, 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 dum. Space Force, Space Force, we'll saddle up our intergalactic horse and we'll ride into the sun, yes, into the sun, where we'll take the day by planting a flag right there at its source. Space Force. Space
Good evening, boys and girls. This is Tim Kennedy. I'm a Special Forces sniper, a Ranger-qualified Green Beret, a UFC fighter. Please listen to us and the shenanigans that we're going to say. We will insult you. There will be racial slurs. We will be sexist. We will offend you. But there will be magic, and a unicorn will be raped. So enjoy the show. Thank you for listening on WTF Nation Radio.
Fizzle on the track. Friday flips number 7. Give me shelter. Rolling stones. In phases. Yeah. I ask that you pour your heart out, drown the threat. We march, not one out of step. Think this shit's bad, see how loud it get. If that lip fuse get to the powder keg, you got crowds in the net, crowds in the street. Weak exploited by the powers that be. It's no new thing, just a newfound breach. Worldwide web, worldwide greed. Let fear lead, dreams get broken. Fenced in routine, repeat the process. You paint them in the corner, provoking. For generations, put the sticks where the cage don't open. When the gap is padlocked from haves to have-nots. Chat stop time to act, cause this calm ain't peace. Throw the balance right off, man. All it takes is one shot. Shoot. Flips in 4 months, I don't get you thinking you work harder than us. You don't shine when we're done. I can't stay in the middle of the road all day, so I pin my colors to the flag I raised. Melbourne made, hip-hop boy, bad bitches love me, whack guys hate what I do to put it in your brain. I give a fuck about what you say. Mate, might wanna make your next few orders, cause I ain't get since 08. For real, don't be fooled cause I smashed the tax bracket. My whole career is back-to-back classics, and yours isn't. So if you're thinking about swinging, best pack a flat jacket. Be out. My dad's son, shit, I could do this with collapsed lungs. Roll like a tank does, mine like a lawyer, rhyme like a mad cunt. Yeah, I guess I'm my dad's son, shit, I could do this with collapsed lungs. Roll like a tank does, mine like a lawyer, rhyme like a mad cunt. And then choose might help, but you want it done right, you gotta do it yourself. When our backs to the wall, we react with force, it is what it is. No love lost when all roads lead to war.
It's just a shot away. It's just a shot away. Oh, dear. It's just a shot away. It's just a shot away. Oh, dear.
You know what they say.
It's just a shot away. It's just a shot away. It's just a shot away. Oh, dear.
You know what they say.
It's just a shot away.
Series 1 is finished. Shouts to M Phases, Tenacious, Kiss On, S-Dub, and all you guys for downloading it, checking it out and spreading the word. So, thanks for that. Catch a cunt. Fuck yeah.
It's not easy being me. It gets hard. A lot. Which doesn't really make a difference. But, is it hard being me? Sometimes it is. Sometimes it has its benefits.
A lot of people ask me what the fuck I've been at the last few years. Shit, I don't know. But I do know. I'm back now.
Yeah, down here, under the ground, dig me up. Broken tibias, fibias, yeah, fix me up. 60 sluts, all of them dying from asphyxia after they sip piss through a Christopher Reeve sippy cup. Dixie cups, toxins, boxes of oxypads, enough oxycontin to send a fucking ox to rehab. Whack job in the back in a black stocking cap, jacking off to a hockey mask and a boxing match. Can't say that, yes he can. I just did faggot and I guess again. Better text message your next to kin. Tell him shit's about to get extra messy, especially when I flex again. Throw a fucking lesbian and wet cement. Faggity, 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 raggedy, Ann and Andy. No, raggedy Andy and Andy. No, it can't be, it can't be. Yes, it can be. The fucking Antichrist's back, Danny and Satan and Black Sabbath. Your life to the fullest. Because they kill a bull, got a pistol, motherfucker, better pull it. And even if they kill me, they can never take the life of a young G. I'm getting money. They're burning your life to the fullest. Because they kill a bull, got a pistol, motherfucker, better pull it. And even if they kill me, they can never take the life of a young G. I'm getting money.
6 semen samples, 17 strands of hair, found in the back of a van after the shoot with Vanity Fair. Hannah Montana prepared it with lope with a can opener and be cut open like cantaloupe with canopy beds and glad bags. Yeah, glad to be back. This last year was a tragedy that landed me smack dab in rehab. Fucking doctor, I ain't gonna stand a damn what he said. I plan to relapse the second I walked out of that bitch. 2 weeks of Brighton, I ain't enlightened. Biting into a fucking Viking and like I'm a Viking. Oh, lightning and striking might be a fucking sign. I need a psyche evaluation. Fuck Jason, it's Friday the 19th. That means it's just a regular day. And this is the kind of shit I think of regularly. Fucking lesbian shouldn't have had her legs in the way. Now she's pregnant and gay, missing both legs and begging to stay.
You're burning your life to the fullest. Because they kill a bull, got a pistol, motherfucker, better pull it. And even if they kill me, they can never take the life of a young G. I'm getting money. You're burning your life to the fullest. Because they kill a bull, got a pistol, motherfucker, better pull it. And even if they kill me, they can never take the life of a young G. I'm getting money, money, money. Get paid, nigga. I'm getting money.
Is it hard being me? Sometimes it is. Sometimes it has benefits. Dirty whores. Thrown at you. At will.
You're burning your life to the fullest. Because they kill a bull, got a pistol, motherfucker, better pull it. And even if they kill me, they can never take the life of a young G. I'm getting money, money. I'm getting money. Yeah, that's right, boy. I'm getting money. Talk doing that shit, boy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see you.
Get money, boy. Money,
Get your money,
shit.